Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. It's time for Chud Watch. Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. I can hear myself. It's time for Chud Watch. Sorry about that. I hope you're all doing well today. Yesterday, of course, if you tuned in for Chud Watch, we saw me get introduced to Tim Pool for the first time. So we're going to be checking out more of Tim Pool's stuff today. We're also going to be looking at some of Elliot Hulse's videos, Tate speech, that website We Hunted the Mammoth, which talks about incels and stuff, and then this guy who's going to defend Hashinshin. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but for those of you who don't know, Hashinshin was basically a League of Legends streamer who has been called out and banned for grooming a minor. So, did the scary, angry Tate guy really date Jordan Peterson's daughter? Apparently, yeah. Which makes too much sense. Of course she'd, like, end up with, like, some angry red pillar. Hope you're all doing well. The Life of Mal, Bumble Homestead, Algae of the Sea, PK the Lost, the Muru Sama, Shamrock Star, MW1642, Arcana Stamber Blackwell, Peyton C609, Jouster Zen, Baja Blast, hello, Medicated Person, Vulcan Princess 97, Wag Roads 13, DM Trey. Thank you, Shamrock Star, for your 50 bits. Weepy Little Sheepy. Shooby-Doo. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. And everyone else, welcome. Rain Dean, thank you for continuing your subscription. 3-month streak. Rain Dean says, hello, Dark Mother, let's watch some Chuds. Indeedly do. Indeedly do. So, this Hashinshin guy, who I'm just looking into for this stream. I was literally reading an article about it just prior, because one of the Chuds we watch semi-regularly, who's like a red pill guy, has a video that's like, Hashinshin is not a pedophile, focus. Focus. And I'm assuming he's gonna unironically make the, actually... Hold on, where are my bones glasses? Actually, the minors were, post-pubescent, so they're, he's actually an ephebophile. No one fucking cares. He's a pedo. Colloquially, people use the term pedophile to describe people who are attracted to minors, even if they're teenagers. Can someone spell this dude's name for me? Hashinshin, it is, let me pull this up. Hashinshin. Hashinshin. Like Greg. Yeah, a lot like Greg. Like, is there a technical difference? I guess. But when people say pedophile, we all understand what you mean. You're still attracted to, like, a minor. That's still not cool. Hashinshin, yeah. So we'll take a look at that. I think I want to do that first, just because it's a good easing in, and we can just make fun of the person who's like, actually, they're an ephebophile. An ephebophile, I guess, is like a, someone who's attracted to a minor, but they're not like a prepubescent child. I understand why the word exists as a distinction, but legally it doesn't really fucking matter. Like, if they're below 16, it's pedophilia. I think they were 16, based on the screenshots I saw, because the person who accused, one of the people who accused him, this woman, she's an adult now, at least over 18, she had, like, receipts on receipts. She has tons of messages of him being a creep. So, yeah. Minor is a child, so they're pedo in my eyes? Oh, I agree. I agree with you. Pedo's a pedo. I don't really care if they're attracted to pre- or post-pubescent children. They're still a pedophile. Let me switch over to this camera. Okay. First, before we actually get to the guy defending Hashinshin, who's, of course, the Chud in Chud Watch. Kids are kids, yo. Indeedly do. I agree. This guy, Yasuo, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, who I believe is another streamer, I assume on Twitch, probably another League streamer. He's gonna give, like, a brief synopsis of the whole situation for us, in case we don't know what's going on. If anyone doesn't know, this will sort of bring you up to parody. Dan Rossi Draws, thank you for continuing your Twitch Prime subscription for 3 months. Wow. 3 whole months of subscriptions. Dan Rossi Draws, great timing. I was just watching your last Chud Watch while working on some art. I hope you do the big art. I hope the art is the artiest. She broke up with him. No one deserves his abuse. Is that in regard to Hashinshin? I don't know. I don't know anything about him in terms of abuse, other than, you know, obviously, like, grooming and preying on children, but... Anyway, so this guy, who's another streamer, maybe check him out. Oh no, Tate speech, yeah. Forgot we talked about him briefly. This channel is Fun of Legends, and this guy's name, it looks like, is Yasuo. Y-A-S-S-U-O. So if you like this, I guess check him out. But he's going to give sort of a synopsis of the Hashinshin situation, so we can all be, you know, up to speed.
I'm so lost what happened to Hashinshin. Let me give you a TLDR. Girls have been accusing him of being creepy and a pedophile for years now. He's always said it was fake. He's always said people are out to get him. He's always threatened them with legal actions. He sent his fans to harass the girls nonstop. Nothing but hate. Called them bitches and whores on the timeline. Said they're fake and manipulative and doctored evidence. All this. They come out with enough evidence to where it's irrefutable. I speak on it, Dom speaks on it, and it's getting attention of a lot of people in the League community. He admits to it because he has nowhere else to go. It's literally just, you can't say it's fake at this point because there's so much proof that you can't say it's fake. He admits to it, and his excuse is that he had carbon monoxide poisoning for 8 years and had memory loss, and then he said he was going to kill himself, and then he said he checked himself into a mental asylum. But he's like tweeting up all these updates, which I don't know. I see it as like him trying to gain sympathy still, but...
Carbon monoxide is an interesting justification for your pedophilia. That's not one I've heard before.
I just despise the guy for the shit he's done. Honestly forgivable since he had so many outplays on Aatrox.
Is he gonna continue, or was that it? Is it just gonna play League of Legends the whole rest of the video?
I might check. I might need ward up here.
I don't play League, so I have no idea what's going on. Alright, let's take a look at some of these receipts. So basically, this Hashinshin guy, you know, is getting accused of hitting on a minor. She posted receipts, DMs from Discord. She was 16, I think, at the time. Well, he was an adult. I'm not exactly sure how old he was, but he was certainly not a minor. So let's take a look at some of the... These are just some keywords she searched. So we have... he says... Psh, you'll always be bottom to me. My bottom. I better see better on bottom. What are you doing today, better on bottom? And then they have, still 16? How's life as a 16-year-old? How you doing, Miss 16? So basically, no possible chance this person did not know. Oh, God. No. I don't want to hear myself talk. If I wanted to hear myself talk, I'd just watch the stream. So basically, he knew she was 16. Like, for sure. So you're 16 now. And then this person says, I'm not 16 yet. Hashinshin says, rubs your butt. Maya, don't be afraid of Big Bro. Big Bro is good at making you feel good. You gotta trust Big Bro.
This is fucking sick.
Big Bro says no.
I'm gonna go vomit, chat. This is awful.
Big Bro just wants to make you happy.
Hannah, you can't. I can't.
I know, it's awful.
You can't read it.
I'm gonna read it.
Don't, just please.
We didn't see that cute Maya butt. Miss Busy Butt slaps your butt. Off you go. Rubs your butt. Maya, don't be afraid of Big Bro. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God, it's so bad.
You know they can't see whatever you're looking at.
Oh, did I? Oh, shit. Sorry, hold on. I'll pull it up.
It was probably for the best. And yes, hi, I'm Baha. This lovely lady's girlfriend.
Let's see, rubs your butt. We'll have a good time then, Maya. We didn't see that cute Maya butt. Say you're a cute girl in chat, and be my cute little girl. You're so cute. You're always cute, though. You don't deserve daddy role, but I'm your daddy. Then how do I be your daddy? How come I'm not your daddy yet? You're such a daddy's girl. Did you give me cute pics? Gimme a cute pic then. Just a pic. You need to show me a pic. You know what I really like about your latest pics? Alright, that's the end. That's the end of the evidence. And this person has evidence that these aren't, like, doctored, basically. They show the DMs and everything in... They have multiple videos of this. I won't go, you know, over the whole thing, but, you know. So, basically, this Hashinshin guy's a fucking dirtbag. He's scum. He's grooming an underage girl. Completely fucked. Completely fucked up shit. And she did a whole Google Doc with, you know, receipts. So, I don't know why anyone would want this, but just because I feel it's good to, like, cite my sources, here it is in the chat if you would like to look at that. So now that we have background on this Hashinshin dirtbag, who has luckily been banned from Twitch, so he's done. His career is fucking over. Thankfully. Let's take a look at this gentleman, Base FZZ, who's going to tell us why, in fact, despite the fact that we have receipts on receipts, how Hashinshin is actually not a pedophile.
So, this is a tough one, okay? Like, the conversation...
It's not a tough one. It's not tough if you recognize that he's, like, grooming underage women. And by the way, that's only the one we have receipts for. Other women have come forward and said that he did basically the same thing to them. Which I'm inclined to believe based upon the receipts we do have. Not difficult to say this Hashinshin guy, complete dirtbag, deserves to be banned, deserves to be investigated by the police, right?
Is very difficult, but I think very important. It needs to be discussed in a very frank, rational, and calm way. This
rational? It's so rational to defend pedophiles. Jesus Christ. I hate how the terms, like, logical and rational have come to, like, be ascribed to the absolute worst kind of people on the internet. Let me just talk about this rationally. I don't feel emotions or have empathy for victims, therefore I'm rational. Ugh.
This conversation makes people very uncomfortable, but it needs to be had because pedophilia as a word is being weaponized way too much, and the actual act
against pedophiles, yeah. Yep. 'Cause it's bad. because that's a thing you shouldn't be.
Pedophilia itself is being a little bit defended too much, especially by liberal people. I'll explain.
What? Please give me an example of pedophilia being defended by the left. I'll wait. Please, someone, give me some receipts. Because whenever I see someone defending pedophiles, always tends to come from the right. People like this who are gonna, like, devil's advocate for actually, he's not a pedophile, he's, an ephebophile. As if the distinction fucking matters.
It doesn't make a lot of sense on face value, but as I explain it will begin to make more sense, right? So first we have to discuss this. So Hashinshin is a Twitch streamer. He streams League of Legends, and I actually happen to be quite the fan of Hashinshin. He's the reason why I went to Twitch.
Didn't Biden get accused of something? Not a child.
Actually,
not an underage person.
Inspired me to even start going on Twitch, even though I haven't been doing that lately. I'll get back on to live streams eventually, you know, but that's neither here nor there. Point is, Hashinshin was revealed to have chatted with a 15-year-old League player by the name of Callus, I believe, or so. Her real name's Maya. He was talking to Maya when she was 15. He admitted to that. And there was another girl named Vicky he began talking to when she was 16. He began, but as she got older, back around 18, they started.
Yeah, Biden's creepy and he gets touchy and gross, but he's not like a pedophile to any evidence that I'm aware of.
Chatting again, or at the very least from the logs, they talked to a point where she became 18 at the very least. A lot of screen captures, a lot of screens and whatnot. There was one catfish named Key, which was clear entrapment. Because it's entrapment, I'm just, you know,
I'm not a pedophile. You entrapped me into asking for pics. What? No, that's not how this works. I'll tell you what. 9 times out of 10 when someone says something is entrapment, it's not entrapment. Entrapment is a very specific thing within the law. Entrapment means the police are basically goading you into doing something that you wouldn't normally do. Very rarely is that the case. Do you want Chud videos, or are you set for this stream? I mean, I'll take links. Even if I don't use them today, I'll save them for later.
I'm just going to dismiss it outright. There's a reason why To Catch a Predator has never convicted any of the predators they caught.
That's not because of entrapment concerns. It's very complicated. That has to do with perverted justice and the way they go about doing things. Perverted justice being the organization that worked with To Catch a Predator, and they put on a lot of those shows. It's more complicated than that.
Because that's called entrapment. You can't purposefully do that. You can't purposely try to lead someone into a crime in order to try to convict them. That's just not how that works. There's a lot of flush, there's a lot of bull crap going on between Hashinshin and his girlfriend, but the most important thing that I kind of want to like sharpen up and clear up to make a lot of sense is that people keep misusing the word pedophile as a weapon to hurt people and take things from people. Hashinshin has been banned from Twitch. Technically speaking, he did not actually infringe on any of Twitch's guidelines, which is...
I guarantee he did. I guarantee he did. I'm part of Twitch, and I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I don't think anyone's read the entirety of the Twitch user agreement. But for one thing, most end user agreements from any company, from Google, if you're talking about YouTube, from Twitter, from Instagram, wherever, they say basically, we can end your account for any reason at any time, just to cover their butts. Even if there wasn't, I recently became a Twitch partner. There's a whole thing you gotta read for when you become a Twitch partner, and it's like, hey, here are the guidelines, here are the things that are okay, here are the things that aren't okay. If you are accused of committing a crime, especially using your position on the website in order to groom underage people, yeah, they can kick you the fuck off for that. Are you kidding? Like, this is, like, black and white. Like, this is not some, like, I don't know. No. Twitch is completely in their rights to ban him for all of eternity.
Which is a strange ban, at least to me, because having conversations with 15-year to 16-year-old girls outside of the platform of Twitch, I don't remember that being in the Twitch terms and conditions. Perhaps that it is. Maybe I missed that part in the terms and conditions. But, you know, that doesn't make sense to me, to punish.
Let's take a look at the Twitch terms and conditions. Twitch partner terms of service. Prohibited conduct. Here we go. You agree not to violate any law, contract, intellectual property, or third-party right, not to commit a tort, and that you are solely responsible for your conduct while on Twitch services. The first line is you agree not to violate any law. Grooming minors is against the law. You agree that you will comply with these terms of service and Twitch's community guidelines and will not 1. Create, upload, transmit, distribute, or store any content that is inaccurate, unlawful, infringing, defamatory, obscene, pornographic, invasive of privacy or public rights, harassing, threatening, abusive, inflammatory, or otherwise objectionable. 2. Impersonate any person or entity, falsely claim an affiliation with any person or entity, access the Twitch service accounts of others without permission, forge another person's digital signature, blah, blah, blah. 3. Send junk mail. 4. Harvest or collect email addresses. 5. Defame, harass, abuse, threaten, or defraud users of the Twitch services, or collect or attempt to collect personal information about users or third parties without their consent. 6. Delete, remove, circumvent, disable, damage, or otherwise interfere with the security-related features on Twitch services of user content. 7. Reverse engineer, domicile, disassemble, or otherwise attempt to discover the source code, blah, blah, blah. Modify, adapt, translate, or create derivative work based upon Twitch services. Basically, you can't, like, steal their net code. Interfere with or damage the operations of the Twitch service. Reply, email from a third-party mail service without the permission of the third party, blah, blah, blah. Attempt to circumvent, attempt to indicate in any manner without prior written permission that you have a relationship with us, use Twitch services for any illegal purposes. Use Twitch services for any illegal purposes in violation of any local, state, national, or international law or regulation, including without limitation laws governing intellectual property and other property rights. I would think using your platform on Twitch in order to find children to groom. Bingo, right there. You cannot use Twitch services for any illegal purposes. Using your Twitch platform to court children to groom is against the terms of service. And by the way, it's the first line too. You agree to not violate any law. Okay? Let me see if I can find also the for any reason clause. For any reason. Termination. To the fullest extent permitted by applicable law, Twitch reserves the right, without notice and in our sole discretion, to terminate your license to use the Twitch services, including to post user content and to block or prevent future access to and use of Twitch services, including where we reasonably consider that A, your use of Twitch services violates these terms of service or applicable law, B, you fraudulently use or misuse Twitch services, C, We are unable to continue providing Twitch services to you due to technical or legitimate business reasons. Our right to terminate your license includes the ability to terminate or to suspend your access to any purchased products or services, including any subscriptions, Twitch Prime, or Turbo accounts. To the fullest extent permitted by applicable law, your only remedy with respect to any dissatisfaction with 1. The Twitch services, 2. Any terms of Twitch services, and 3. Any policy or practice of Twitch in operating the Twitch services, or 4. Any content or information transmitted through the Twitch services is to terminate your account and to discontinue use of any and all parts of Twitch services. So basically, you use Twitch to break the law. They can ban you. And that's what this Hashinshin guy did. Would have taken 5 seconds for this idiot to look this up. But he chose not to and instead decided to go on a rant about how he's gonna defend a fucking pedophile. It would have taken no effort at all to not do this, and yet here we are.
Someone for what they did outside of Twitch, from Twitch. See, the point is, it's a weaponization that's trying to hurt people. More than that, what's more important is people keep calling him a pedophile. That's just not the case. Now, why is this important? Again, you're weaponizing the word pedophile.
Is he a fan of the streamer and he's just standing them despite being a sexual predator? I don't even know if they're that big of a fan. I think they just like to defend pedophilia because they're afraid that the police are going to come in and find their lolly collection. Yes, I know lolly isn't technically illegal, or at least isn't enforced in most places. I'm just saying. I think people who aren't into children don't tend to feel the need to defend pedophiles. Just in my experience.
To hurt and attack and take things from people. When
did he say he was a fan? Perhaps.
Technically, just to be clear, I don't really think what he did was right. I really don't. Poor form on Senpai's part, talking or flirting with 15 to 16-year-old girls.
Did he just call him Senpai? Ugh.
Poor form, but it's not pedophilia specifically.
Let's look up the actual legal definition of pedophilia, shall we? Pedophilia legal definition. I wonder if I'm going to wind up on a list for searching this. An abnormal obsession with children as sex objects. A person who acts upon this obsession by molesting a child, taking explicit photographs, and performing other acts specified by law, such as grooming a child, is guilty of a crime. Someone who is underage is considered a child in the law. So yes, he is legally a pedophile. I'm sorry that that upsets you, but reality is what it is.
Let's break down why. He was not grooming, specifically. I keep seeing people say over and over again, he was grooming these girls. He was not grooming. I'll explain everything, and I'll explain, like, why.
He was, though. If you're an adult and you try and start a relationship with an underage person, you are grooming them. You're flirting with them. You're grooming them. Thank you to, the Mannequin for following.
Why pedophilia is such a problem in general. As if people don't seem...
Is this a replay? No, this is live.
People seem to only kind of get caught on one element of pedophilia, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. I'm going to explain that, like, having an attraction, even though the correct word would be ephebophilia, to 15 to 16 girls...
He did it! He said the thing! He said the thing! Actually... since they were, post-pubescent, they, are an ephemophile, not a pedophile. No one cares! No one cares. Everyone knows what we mean when we say pedophile. He's a pedophile. He groomed children. They were underage. He's a pedophile. There is no law about ephebophilia. It's considered pedophilia in the eyes of the law, whether they're 4 or whether they're 15. Period. I don't want to hear your justification of like, well, at least he's not into like 5-year-olds. Okay, both are bad. I don't care which one you've subjectively decided is worse. They're both pedophilia. My goodness.
It's a lot more reasonable than pedophilia is, and this is bullshit. Okay, so let me explain first with this. Pedophilia is an attraction to prepubescent.
He's unironically gonna do this. He's unironically legit gonna do this. What the fuck?
Children. Okay? Now, homosexuals can also be pedophiles. I'm not sure
What the fuck does this have to do with anything? What?
why that's not really addressed. Mostly it's because people want to defend homosexuals because they're sick of them being a minority class that's constantly being attacked.
Anyone can be a pedophile. No one is denying that. But if every time you bring up pedophilia, you go, did you know gay people can be pedophiles? It probably means you just don't like gay people. What are you talking about?
But it is important to highlight that, yes, homosexuals can also be pedophilic. So that's what
What the fuck is this guy's problem?
pedophilia is, an attraction or sexual attraction to prepubescent children. This is prior to them being able to have sex or have secondary sex characteristics, okay? It logically makes no sense. It's totally unreasonable for lots of different reasons, okay? But we'll
Report. Harmful or dangerous acts? Nah, what would this be under? Repulsive content? Nah. Sexual content? No, what would this be under? I'm gonna go with that one. That'll do. Report! Hey, completely unrelated. Here's the link to this video if you want it for some reason.
We'll save that conversation for another time. The mere fact alone that Hashinshin was flirting with the 15-year-old automatically it's not pedophilia. It doesn't really mean this is a hell of a lot. This it's just not even the same scope of an issue here, okay? Talking to a 15-year-old and abusing a child, they're not the same thing. Now, how do I
Guess what? They're both illegal! You know! No, motherfucker! You are an adult! Speaking to a 15-year-old like that is fucked. It's fucked up. You are grooming an underage person. You are an adult. That is on you. No. Don't give me this, they weren't actually, 5, so no. 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 A 15-year-old does not have the maturity, does not have the self-actualization of an adult. They just don't. They cannot consent. You cannot try and get into a relationship with a child. That is grooming. They are a child. Like, they're 15.
know this? Because 15-year-old people, they may not be the most intelligent individuals, but like, how old is 15 really? I'm not saying a person is as smart as they're going to be at 15. That's not what I'm saying, man. What I am saying is 15 to me is how old enough to decide whether or not you want to talk to your favorite Twitch streamer, on Twitter. Like, that's to me.
We're not talking about talking to someone. There's no law against having interactions between teenagers and adults if you're just talking like normal human beings. I don't like to do it because, like, I don't get along with, younger people typically. I didn't even when I was a teenager. But, like, that's not what we're talking about. Stop equivocating. We're talking about Hashinshin sexualizing this underage girl and saying things about her butt, talking about, like, this weird daddy, big bro fetish he seems to have going on. This isn't talking, this is grooming.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Dude Spanking Dude says, it's also the power dynamic the streamer using their fame, and the fact the person idolizes them to rope them in sexually is extra gross. Indeed. Exactly.
Like, if you can't make a decision like that by the time you're 15, then just give up, motherfucker, because life is way harder than...
Are you fucking serious? I wouldn't trust 15-year-old me to make any decision. Like, what? No. A 15-year-old cannot consent. I don't care about your stupid bullshit justifications. 15-year-olds cannot consent. Jesus Christ.
Than that, okay? You know, now obviously...
Again, if you want a link to this video for any reason, whatever that might be, hint hint, there it is.
I'm quoting Dave Chappelle word for word, because seriously,
Here's the comment I'm gonna leave. Found the pedo.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
if you're
Thank you to Spilt Coffee for following.
15 and you made it to Twitch, I'm sorry, if you made it to Twitch, I was correct there, and you made it to Twitter to talk to this person that you...
What do I think the age of consent should be? No lower than it is now.
look up to, and they're giving you the time of day. A lot of people are constantly referring to these girls as victims, that these girls were somehow victimized by Hashinshin, and I just can't really see a victim here. Even I'll throw up some of these messages here, and you'll find that, of course, this is poor form on Senpai's part. You should
Stop calling him senpai, you fucker. What are you doing?
shouldn't touch a 15-year-old.
Let's see what this says. Hey, I was asleep. Where that tight body at? At my bed now. Just woke up. Show me that body. I'm writing to you so slow. Ja 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 ja. Yeah? And then there's a photo. Oh my god. So he's literally soliciting. He's grooming this girl, first of all, in order to get to this point. They clearly already have a relationship. Of some sort. Of course, this relationship can never be a real relationship, and it cannot be amicable, specifically because she's underage. This is grooming. He has asked for a photo, which would presumably constitute child pornography, solicited it from her, which she sent. This is multiple crimes. What are you talking about?
Year-old girl specifically for this reason, but it is still important to note that what he's doing here is not grooming in the slightest, okay? Now, let me explain what grooming is in relation to pedophiles. Grooming is preparing a child for sexual intercourse, okay?
Yes, or sexual acts. Having someone sext you or send you photos can be constituted sexual acts under the law. That's reality. You don't have to literally molest someone or engage with physical sexual activities with them to have sexual activities occur. Sexting, phone sex, pictures, all sorts of stuff can count, right?
Okay. The thing about pedophiles is they don't normally jump out of the wilderness and grasp children and just have sex with them. That's not normally what they do. One of the problems of it is the fact that it's usually they're trying to create a back catalog of favors, of objects and things and gifts given to the child in order to make the child feel like they owe something to that person, okay? So the pedophile gives children lots of different things.
Almost like someone being a successful League of Legends streamer, gaining a following, giving someone who is underage attention, which they feel is very validating because they're getting attention from someone they look up to, someone like on Twitch, this Hashinshin guy, and that's a reward for them. Sounds a lot like grooming.
Like babysit, usually they have to be like babysitters or people that can constantly come into contact with the kid, because normally just random strangers just not normally something you could really do reasonably. But the thing about grooming is pedophiles will also show children pornography and explain it to them in a reasonable or rational way in order to get the child to think that sexual intercourse between them and the adult is perfectly fine or okay. So that's what grooming is. It's preparing the child and convincing the child that sexual intercourse is okay.
Yeah, which is what Hashinshin did. And not just sexual intercourse, sexual activity, which can include, again, soliciting of child pornography from this underage girl, which we saw a screenshot of him doing. Him flirting with her, him discussing things with her and easing into the conversation where he's asking for photos, that's the grooming aspect. You don't literally have to have physical sexual intercourse with an underage person for sexual activities to have taken place. The transmission of child pornography is a crime in and of itself, on top of ownership of said pornography. He broke the law.
And creating a back catalog of gifts and favors to make the child feel like they have to trade in their sex in order to balance out what the pedophile has given them.
Again, like getting attention from a Twitch streamer that you have a lot of respect for, which is what's happening here. Rewards don't have to be physical gifts. It doesn't have to be as literal as, hey kid, I'll give you some candy if you do such and such thing, right? It can be like, oh wow, this Twitch streamer who's an adult and whom I respect on many, many levels and who I look up to is giving me attention, and not only giving me attention, but validating me and calling me attractive and saying that they want me and all sorts of things. Like, that's a reward. You're describing what Hashinshin did.
This is correct. This is what grooming is correctly, okay? Now,
a palate cleanser? Yeah, I'll cue that up for after this. We definitely need to do a cleanse after this. This is sick.
There's plenty of reasons why this is heinous and why this is terrible. Okay, like destroying a child's ability to understand and use sex in its correct, natural, beautiful way between a male and a female is like the hallmark of evil. People's disdain for pedophilia is 100% correct when you look at it in its correct context. Now, a 15-year-old girl to a 16-year-old girl finding a streamer on the internet.
Let me see how old Hashinshin is. Hashinshin. H. Oh, he's 32! Jesus fucking Christ. He's 30! Oh god. Jesus effing Christ. Dude Spanking Dude says, on a side note, love how my mom says I need to eat healthy. She says as she fucking smokes. Yeah. Well. He's more opposed to gay people than actual pedophiles? Seems like it.
And then...
honestly, part of me was hoping he was at least just like 18 or something. Still not cool, because the rules apply equally to everyone, and even if you just turned 18, you're still an adult, and you get treated the same as someone who's, 40, 50. But this guy's fucking 30. He knows better.
Flirting with them, and then talking sexually with them, is not them being groomed. They already know what sex is. They came into the engagement.
Grooming doesn't necessarily mean that you're teaching someone what sex is. They can already know.
With, here's a high status male, here's a guy that has status, here's one of my, I'm a fan of this guy, now I can get his attention. And that's the thing that really pisses me off about this shit, right? We're gonna sit here and pretend, like, Void Boy made his video. Some of my subscribers don't really know who Void Boy is, but Void Boy is like this, is for some reason like the patron saint of the League community, because I guess whenever he makes a video on his staircase, that means that he's got a point to say, but he really doesn't, because he's trying to sit here and say that we need to stand with these victims.
Yes.
Like, these girls are victims.
Yes.
Of
if a 30-year-old man talks to someone half his age and gets her to send him illicit pictures of themselves, the child is the victim because the adult has taken advantage of them.
of, first of all, because I've just clearly defined being groomed, that's just not what happened with them. But they're not victims in any case, in any sense of the word, because they knew exactly what they were doing.
No 15-year-old knows what the fuck they are doing in terms of this kind of thing. They barely hit puberty, most likely. They're fine. They do not know what they're doing, though. They don't. A 15-year-old cannot consent. Period.
Now, again, am I saying that it's okay to engage sexually with 15-year-old girls? Of course not. Now,
don't fucking say that when it's clear that that's what you're implying and saying. You're saying, oh, these 15-year-old girls knew what they were doing. A crime? They're helping this guy commit a crime and being victimized by him? No! That's not how any of this works. They are victims because he groomed them and got them to send him photos, which obviously no one should have. They are underage.
Personally have quite the disdain for them, being a substitute teacher for quite some time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should trust it when I say this. There's really no reason to engage with the like, they're more of a burden than anything else. Don't look at my video as me trying to say what Senpai Hashinshin did was correct. He should not have touched these girls with a 39.5-foot pole. He shouldn't have, and everyone is correct there. But calling them victims is just not accurate. They knew what they were doing. They knew that they were engaging with a guy that had status, and they knew.
Wait, he said he was a teacher?
And everyone was correct. Don't look at my reason to engage with the like, they're more of a burden than any. There's really, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should trust it when I say this. There's really no reason to engage with the like, they're more of a burden than anything else. Don't look at my video as me trying to say what Senpai Hashinshin did was correct. He should not have touched these girls.
Right before this?
Like, you should trust it when I say this. There's really no, you know what I'm saying? Personally have quite the disdain to engage sexually with 15-year-old girls. Of course not. Now, I personally have quite the disdain for them, being a substitute teacher for quite some time.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ! Someone needs to send this to his school district. Let's do some investigation and find this guy. Does he have any socials that I can find? Let me see. Twitter. He's got a blogspot page. Fitness, philosophy, and martial arts blog focusing on creating functional strength and healthy mind. I'm going to be posting about the development of my exercise program, martial arts, and different philosophical topics to help you live a better life. He's a substitute teacher. I don't know if he has any, like, personal information somewhere. YouTube, Patreon. That's just the blogspot page. I'm gonna have to look into this later. Do I have his first and last name? No, I don't. Zers. Let me search that. Zers. It's a character from World of Warcraft, so that's where he's getting that. Media? Does he have anything in regard to, like... It's probably going to be boring, so I'll do this off stream to try and find where he's from. I also don't want to dox him to you guys, because that's against TOS, and I don't want to do that. But, like, someone needs to find out where the heck he is and send this to school districts around him, because that shit is not okay. Oh, did I accidentally exit out of the... Oh, no, I'm in a different tab. Did you guys know? I was looking at stuff, by the way. Yeah, His Twitter. I was looking at his Twitter already. You just couldn't see it because it was in a different tab.
Time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should trust it when I say this. There's really no reason to engage with the 50. Like, they're more of a burden than anything else. Don't look at my video as me trying to say what Senpai Hashinshin did was correct. He should not have touched these girls with a 39.5-foot pole. He shouldn't have. And everyone is correct there. But calling them victims...
Yeah, I'll update if I find it and I'm able to send.
Is just not accurate. They knew what they were doing. They knew that they were engaging with a guy that had status, and they knew that they could trade their sexuality in order to get attention. The problem, more than anything else, is the culture of trading sexuality for favors and attention, rather than using sexuality for its intended purpose of intimacy and bonding, and using it as a way in order to create more people.
You know where he lives? Goddamn Baja, you're always so good at this. Fuck yeah, Baja Blast. That's my girlfriend.
That's the...
Yeah, probably find out where, if you can find out the schools he works at, or even just schools in his area, and send this video to them, that'd be great.
Biggest issue. The problem is the fact that women are recognizing I can trade sex for things.
How is she so good at this? Because she's just amazing.
That's what it is. It's women.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. He's gonna regret this fucking video. I'll tell you that much.
It's hyper attraction to status. That is the problem here. Because again, if we were to just take, like, because the problem here is just it is a problem in and of itself that isn't really being highlighted. At least to me, that bothers me a lot. Is the fact.
No, please don't say it, Andrew Dickerson.
That high status males
will
being
handle
able to just
it.
grab and like pick and choose girls. No one really finds that to be an issue. Okay, no one really says that it's an issue except women who have been.
Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Picked and used by them. But the problem is, women facilitate a system like this, quote unquote. Women are facilitating that having status makes it easier for males to have sex with them because women are trading their sex for it, okay?
Again, completely victim blaming, saying that it's the children's fault for being groomed by this 30-year-old man.
Now, again, am I saying that it was correct for him to flirt with these girls? No. But if you read these messages, you'll find that they're clearly engaged with him. Like, he's not trying very hard to really convince these girls to do anything they don't, like, want to do. Like, and even...
He's flirting with them. And when you flirt with an underage person, do you know what that's called? Grooming.
And the most he does when he even tries to convince them is, like, he'll bring it up, like, once or twice. And then, like, that'll be the end of it, and then he'll move on. Like, I'm reading all this stuff with, like, Maya. Maya is clearly, like, flirting back with him. Maya's clearly engaging back with him.
She's a child! She's 15! It's the adult's responsibility to know not to do this, and to get into this situation. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Look at all the pages where, like, he sexualizes her, and you see that, like, this is kind of like a game to her at the very, like the context here is not one of someone that's, like, terrified and scared and like doesn't understand what's going on and is being pressured, and like, that's not her. Like, Hashinshin's not offering her anything. He's not bolstering her career. He's just talking to her. That's the most of it. Should he have been talking to her? I don't really think so. Is this the most egregious thing anyone has ever done? Like, I don't know, not even in the bloody slightest. Like I said, the biggest issue here is the fact that it can be misconstrued as pedophilia because she's a minor, and people don't understand what pedophilia is. So the real issue here isn't what he actually did, but the fact that it can create this situation.
No, the story is what he did, which was a crime. I wouldn't be surprised if he's actively being investigated for this shit at this point. There's tons of evidence. You, as an adult, do not have the right to try and seduce underage people. You do not get to flirt with a child. And you cannot blame the child when they're getting attention from someone who they respect and look up to. It's on the adult. It's the adult's responsibility to know better and to not commit fucking crime.
Excuse me. Where people are not understanding correctly, like, the issues and the problems here of, like, this culture. Again, do not misunderstand me. I'm not saying that what he did was fine when he was talking to, like, Vicky. He got a couple of pictures from Vicky, I believe. I don't really know the nature of those pictures, because I imagine if those pictures were of the nudie variety, Vicky technically is a criminal, because, like, even if a 17-year-old girl were to send naked pictures, she has created child pornography. Like, she is a criminal. If she distributes it, she's distributing child pornography. She is a criminal, technically, by the law. Now, I don't really know who's going to prosecute her for that, but technically speaking, like, that's a whole legal issue.
If an adult is soliciting that from them, then they are culpable, which we saw in the receipts Hashinshin do.
Like, right there, like, the whole training of it all. It's its own thing. But my point is, if Hashinshin has done all these different illegal things, then where are the lawyers? Where are the police? Where are
They're probably going to investigate him.
the people trying to get him?
The law takes a while. As far as I know, this is a relatively recent thing that's come out.
Out of here. Like I said, where's the police? You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is what really bothers me about like Me Too as a whole thing. I mean, they didn't really use the whole Me Too moniker, but you know, you guys understand colloquially what Me Tooing is.
When people get what's coming to them because they've gotten away with sexually assaulting people for a long time, but now there's a social movement to stop that by speaking up about being abused. Yeah, that's what that term means, not whatever derogatory bullshit your weird incel brain has come up with.
What pisses me off the most is the fact that they keep weaponizing these different things to, like, attack people who, like I said...
Won't someone think of the pedophiles? No.
Hashinshin certainly didn't do the right thing, but he's not a pedophile. This is just...
He is. He engaged in sexual conversations and solicited pictures from minors. That's pedophilia.
Not the correct thing to label him as. It's not the correct...
It's literally what the law is that he would be charged with. There is no ephibophile law. There are laws on pedophilia, however, and if you are engaging in sexual conduct with a minor, that's what you're getting charged under. Stop with all this, actually bullshit. Stop equivocating. Pedophiles are fucking pedophiles. I don't care if you're into 5-year-olds or 14-year-olds. You're into children. It's fucked up. Stop it.
Thing to put on him, and the response, I think, is just way out of proportion. There's a lot more issues here, especially, like, there's one act of extortion that this young lady Karina tried to do on Hashinshin, which for some reason is glossed over. I don't even understand why this woman would even show these screenshots of...
Let's see. Katrina says, because you should not be talking to underage girls in that manner. True. Hashinshin says, yes, I agree, and I've apologized. I've made amends, and I've bettered myself in so many ways. Bullshit. Bullshit. Being a pedophile is not something you just one day go and, you know, I've decided to better myself. I'm not gonna solicit pornography from underage girls anymore. Karina says, CNA, you make amends by giving me money, please. I am asking nicely. Hashinshin says, depends. Karina says, on what? Hashinshin says, well, are you actually going to consider it amends? Are you actually going to stop telling Ali I'm a pedo? Are you going to back me up? Bruh, I'm not going around saying you're a pedo. I don't even care. then fucking back me up. And she says, okay, give me money. Sounds like she's desperate for some money, unfortunately.
For extorting Hashinshin as if this makes her look virtuous or reasonable in any capacity. Like I said, at one point it was just straight entrapment with the key catfish.
I don't think he knows what entrapment even means.
Listen, I'm not saying Hashinshin made the right choices.
No one, the police or some private organization were not involved in this. No one was like, we're going to get underage girls to engage with him online, so he will... No, that's not what happened at all. Presumably at some point, these girls tweeted at him or DM'd him or something on some app, I don't know. And he engaged with them, flirted with them, groomed them, solicited pictures from them, and said sexual things to them. That's not entrapment. That's just a crime. And by the way, Hashinshin, or not Hashinshin, sorry. By the way, Bass FZZ, whatever the fuck your name is. How can there be entrapment if there's not a crime? You're simultaneously saying he didn't do anything wrong and saying this is entrapment. Which is it? Because it can't be entrapment if a crime wasn't committed.
Just here and everywhere. He really didn't. Once again, just to be clear so no one hits me with this nonsense, I'm not saying that he should have talked to these girls when they were 15. He should not have. But what I am saying is it's not pedophilia. That's not what happened. That's not correct. You can't put that on him. That's not the and again, one of the bigger issues that I'm noticing, especially if you go on TikTok, you're gonna find lots of young girls blasting the internet with a lot of sex and sexuality. These girls come to the internet knowing what sex is, knowing the response they're going to get, knowing all these things. There's this one I could find off the top of my head.
Of course you have something off the top of your head of underage girls ready.
That it's just not even right. I'll just post, like, you're gonna be really uncomfortable with this, but the irony is she's the one posting it. I'm just commenting on it. If I comment on it, I look like there's something wrong with me for recognizing reality, which is one of the biggest issues with this conversation, is that a male looks strange if he comments upon one. So just told him, and then she admits when she was 16 that she wanted him the whole time. Like, she knew what she was doing. Like, it's...
Stop victim blaming.
They know. Again, do they have the wisdom to use their sexuality correctly? Not at all. In fact, very many adult women don't. This is an issue of just females in general, and it's really bad for young ladies.
Have we reported him? I think Baha has the information. So either she'll do that, or I'll get the information from her and do it later.
Really bad for teenagers. But that's a problem. Like, that's the issue. It's the fact that you've got kids, teenagers, recognizing that they can be sexual on the internet and get stuff out of it, or
Twitch
get attention
encouragement.
out of it, and they're not using it correctly. But it is inaccurate to call that pedophilia. It's not pedophilia, and it's not
Blast
grooming.
is working on
There's
reporting
multiple different problems here, but misconstruing it as pedophilia just kind of creates a whole smokescreen.
It's not misconstruing. It's an accurate representation of what's going on. Hashinshin got what was coming to him, and he hasn't even been, like, criminally charged at this point, which he may be. Who knows? But at minimum, I'm glad his career is over. He's used his platform to get to underage girls and groom them and solicit illicit pictures from them. He deserves to have his career destroyed, because clearly he's wielded it like a weapon to target young women, and it's fucked up.
Where people aren't seeing what the real evil of being a pedophile is. The real evil of being a pedophile is corrupting the innocence of a child who has done nothing wrong. It's totally destroying their life and making it so that they can't even...
Can I post the video in chat? I sure can. For whatever reason you might have.
Use sex correctly anymore. People keep using sex like it's a toy, like it's just something to make you feel good. But there's more to it than that, and that gets obliterated when a child is groomed by a real pedophile, by a babysitter that was supposed to, like by people that they're supposed to look up to. See, and of course people are trying to misconstrue that like Hashinshin being a streamer on the internet is one of those people these girls look up to. They didn't look up to him as some kind of role model. Like I'm the person who looked up to Hashinshin and enjoyed his content and just like enjoyed how fantastic he was with Aatrox. Like that was me. I looked up to him. I aspired to mirror the outplays he could do with the champion Aatrox. That's me looking up to him. These girls weren't looking up to Hashinshin trying to say, well, let me see how I can be a better player and emulate his abilities and whatnot. No, they wanted some penis. They wanted...
Fuck you! They're children. I don't care if some underage person has a crush on an adult. That happens. It's the responsibility of the adult, because they are the adult, to know better and shut that shit down. If there is an underage person who happens to have a crush on you, and they come to you, and it's clear that they're trying to get close to you because they have a crush on you, it is on you as an adult to shut that shit down. Period. And if anything continues of that interaction, if you not only encourage it, but flirt and solicit images from that person, you are a pedophile. You are grooming them, and you deserve to be fucking arrested.
Some sexual attention. You could tell by the fact that they were flirting with them, and you can see in all of the screenshots that they themselves provided. Again, am I saying he should have engaged with them? No, of course not. Never should you engage with a 15-year-old to a 16-year-old on the internet. But it's ridiculous to pretend that they're not blasting the internet out with sex and sexuality.
You're an adult. It's your job to be like, that's fucking weird. Not engaging with this. If you instead decide, alright, I'm in on this, then that's on you. You're the adult. That's a responsibility. You have a responsibility as an adult to follow the law. Ideally, you have a moral system that already tells you that it's wrong to engage with someone half your age in that way, but even if you don't for some reason, you have the responsibility to act in a way that is legal. And engaging with this shit, grooming young people, children, is illegal. Period.
They are. They are. That's a problem unto itself. And it's even more ridiculous is to say that having an attraction to them when they look like adult women somehow means that as a male you're a pedophile and there's something wrong with you. That's just incorrect. That's not true. And the problem here is this is where it becomes really heinous. The problem here is now the actual pedophiles who refer to themselves as maps or minors.
Wait, 1 second. She's gonna tell me something, I assume. That's like some digital Sherlock Holmes shit. You're so good at this. Yes, please take a bow. God damn, she's good. No one cross Baja Blast. She'll find you in like 20 minutes. Jesus fucking Christ.
Or attracted people now have a leg to stand on, right? Because if we call all of...
Look at the comments. I'll look at them after the video.
This crap pedophilia now they can argue, well, wait, hold on. Those minors, well, they're 15, 16, well, they look like adult women. Well, I should be okay with being with... And it's like, no. Because that's not what we're fucking talking about. That's not what the word means. And it's creating a smoke screen that's gonna have
What
to make
happened,
it so that
Baja was just telling me basically how she found this guy, where he lives, his name, and she's gonna find his teaching certificate, the districts he's certified in, and forward this video with an email to those districts. So, hopefully, he will be removed post-haste.
people like me who are reasonable and logical are like, no, dude, like, you have to use words correctly.
Yes, he's a teacher. He's a substitute teacher.
You have to have an understanding of concepts correctly to
We
address
need, like, a hacker Baja emote.
problems that are happening. And addressing the problems that are happening is that 15-year-old girls to 16 to 17 blasting the internet with sexy pictures and sexy imagery and twerking is its own can of worms, okay? Again, a whole video just needs to be made of that one. But anyone indulging in that, they're not pedophiles. That's not pedophilia. That's not what that word
It is. It is. Legally, it is.
means, especially if that person views them as an adult, because biologically that's what their brain is seeing.
Okay.
So this isn't related to hacking, or not hacking, but like knowing the system and how to find things. But I have gotten a substitute teacher fired before. When I was in high school, we had a substitute, and they were a long-term sub because the teacher was on maternity leave. And it was a science and society class. So we were basically supposed to be learning science in relation to how society developed. And he decided to go around the room at some point during the class and ask every single person to say how they thought the universe was created. And everyone except for me and my best friend said God. And me and my best friend said the Big Bang. And I was fucking livid because his response was, and I quote, I still remember this to this day, actually, there's a lot more evidence for creationism. I stood up, went to the principal, and got him fired. Another fun fact, a year later, after I had graduated, my brother got a substitute teacher fired because they were, my brother and I, we grew up in a very, like, in an inner city school district in Flint, Michigan, so there was a ton of diversity. Most of the time I was the only white kid in my classes, and that was perfectly fine for me, and I enjoyed it. Then my parents took us and put us in the whitest, most Christian community for high school that you could possibly imagine. It was a small town. There were like 5 churches in this town of 1,000 people. It was ridiculous. So most kids in this school had never seen a black person for sure. So the substitute teacher was basically calling black people the N-word and saying a bunch of racist-ass bullshit. And my brother also got up, went out of class, and got that teacher fired. So, just, you know, I'm gonna try my best. If, you know, worst comes to worst, if I can't find what district he specifically substitutes in, I'm just gonna send it to all of them. All right. Love you, chat.
You're wonderful.
You're a sweetie. Got something on your eye.
Thank you. Love you too.
A pedophile is someone that wants a prepubescent child, okay? Prepubescent. Homosexuals can also...
Why does he keep bringing this up? Why keep demonizing gay people when you're talking about pedophilia? I'd imagine most pedophiles are straight, because most people are straight.
be pedophiles. That's another important thing that people just want to scare away, okay? That's what pedophilia is, all right? What Hashinshin did was wrong. He should not have done it. I agree with everyone who's saying he should not have. Calling these girls victims, is a joke. It's a fucking joke. Okay? It's a fucking joke. It's a hilarious joke. Read this stuff. Calling them victims of what? Victims of flirting with the Twitch streamer that they wanted? Like, come on. No. He didn't take advantage of them. He didn't hurt them. He didn't take anything from them. He asked for pictures. Okay? Now, the nature of these pictures. I don't know if they're nudies. If they're nudies, then we need to talk about...
They are. He solicited child pornography from underage girls he groomed. That's multiple felonies.
That doesn't seem to be the case, but they willingly did it, okay? Should they have been wiser? Should he have been wiser? Yes, no one's wrong there. But one more time, that's not pedophilia. With that being said, I'm certainly hope you guys got something out of today's video. You probably didn't, but if you did, man, go and click the like button. Just shoot, go and click that subscribe button.
We're about to end this man's whole career. Unironically. Fuck this guy.
So...
Fuck this guy. Oh, did he already delete my comment? Let me see. Maybe it's just under newest. Oh, wow. That took him 10 whole minutes to delete my comment calling him a pedo. What a shock. So shocked. Anyway, so that's this shitbag. His YouTube channel is this, if you wanted to find that video at any point. Oh boy. Anyway, let's move on to something else. Let's do this. Someone sent this as a cleanse?
Did you know I wrote a hit song, got seen like 40 million times? Oh, that's as big as some of Elvis's biggest ones. You ever heard of it? We love our Somalis, we love our Muslims too. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet. That's like, I love my llama too. Oh, my llama's so good. I need my llama today. There's nothing better than a llama, say, hey. That's why we got llamas. We love our llamas. See, when you don't care how you look, you have a lot of fun. Yes. Now, is that the worst thing you ever seen?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what it's all about. I can see some of the crews really enjoying this back there.
Jesus Christ. That's... Let's look at, I don't know. What would be a good cleanse? I know SpaceX just landed the astronauts yesterday or the day before.
And we are less than 5 minutes away from...
It's just that much.
We'll start running those 6 operational missions that they've contracted SpaceX to do. But, you know, we are just
They contracted SpaceX for 6 missions, I guess?
So we're still inside that.
Copy.
That's about what they pulled during information of those 2 drogue deployments.
Copy, 2 drogue.
All right, so 2 of 2, the drogues now out. They're going to do their slowing and stabilizing of the Dragon spacecraft. They should be detaching in just a few moments.
I'm surprised they were only up at the International Space Station for like a couple of weeks. I thought normally they stayed for like months, but...
True, descent rate nominal.
Dude Spanking Dudes has a link we can look at in a sec.
So the expected descent rate, the expected velocity out of the drogues nominal, we're right at around 100.
Shoots out.
We are visual. 4 main parachutes deployed.
4 main.
Slow Dragon down significantly. We are anticipating splashdown in just under 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Occurs, we see splashdown and mains cut.
Dragon Endeavour has returned home. NASA astronauts
And
Bob and
Endeavor, on
Doug.
behalf of the SpaceX and NASA teams, welcome back to planet Earth, and thanks for flying SpaceX.
It was truly our honor and privilege.
I think a bunch of civilian boats or something I heard were able to get in the way.
In the Gulf of Mexico, just off the coast of Pensacola, Florida. And on your screen there, you can see our 2 fast boats, and they are indeed fast, racing out to greet.
Let me see if I SpaceX.
And SpaceX copies for vehicle assessment, step
Trump.
3.1.
Boat. Like, civilian boaters, I guess, were allowed to, like, the security was shit, and they were able to get right up to the capsule, which is super dangerous for everyone involved.
Making sure that they get out of there.
Like, this is just like a random civilian boat, and it's going right up to the space capsule. Like, isn't that nuts? Did I see Musk crying because Buzz Aldrin said he didn't like the idea of SpaceX? No, that's funny, though. Like, these are just, like, people's boats!
We are being advised that the recovery team is radioing out to the vessels in the water near Crew Dragon to vacate the area so that we're able to extract Bob and Doug's
capsules.
Incredibly dangerous.
They're getting a lot closer.
Again, we are in
shit security. I hope they fix that for next time. Some Dude Spanking Dude sent this. Oh, this is another one of those weird surreal videos. These are barely a cleanse. They're just weird.
Hello, I'm Peppa Pig. George sadly can't join us today. Neither can my parents. But don't worry about them, I've already dealt with them. So, you might wonder why you're here today. Well, truth is, a friend of yours told me that you're one of the people who used me in the recent meme, in which you make me appear in rather absurd locations. I'm simply here to stop that from ever happening again. I don't like the meme, that's all. Now, where did I put my instruments? Don't worry, this won't hurt in the slightest.
Can we get a link to the Discord? Yeah, hold on.
Oh no, it's my only weakness. Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory.
Hey Zinga.
Sorry, I'm getting the Discord, so it might have the thing down. There's a link to the Discord in the chat. It's a Discord I share with Jake, actual Jake here on Twitch. We'll save this cleanse for a little bit later. Let's do some Tate speech. Tate on, oh god, female friends. How to fix the racists in America forever. Yikes. Vegans and vegetarians. Oh, that'll be bad. That'll be real bad. Tate on chess. Oh god, does he know how to play chess? So let's do Tate on chess. I'm curious about his very intellectual opinions on the game of chess.
I play a lot of chess. Now, as you may know, my father is one of the best chess players in the world. Beautiful tactician.
Oh god, is that true? Emery Tate. 5-time Armed Forces chess champ. Jesus Christ. What happened there?
And my father played chess the way I kickbox. No defense. Pure attack. And sometimes he'd lose terribly. Sometimes he would destroy someone. Steamroll. A lot of the best chess players in the world now are not unstoppable forces. They're immovable objects. They just play super safe. They keep everything guarded and they slowly grind you down. My dad didn't do that dumb shit. He was like, yeah, fuck.
I mean, that doesn't make him dumb. It makes him strategic. It's a game of strategy. If their strategy is to play defensively and win slowly over time, and they win, then that's a winning strategy. Why would you go with the strategy that makes you lose because you're afraid it makes you look like a bitch or whatever? Like, yeah, I lost that game of chess, but boy, did you see how aggressive I played? Like, okay, you still lost. Who cares?
Sacrifice the queen, motherfucker. Yeah, sacrifice. Fuck you. Like a fucking bad boy. So, from a young age, I played chess. I was actually the youngest ever state chess champion for Indiana. I was chess champion at the age of 5 in the under 12s. The youngest person to ever win it at the time. I don't know if it's been beaten since. I played chess for a long time professionally until I moved to England, and then there's no chess scene in England like there is in America. In America, it's really big. In England, it's nothing. England's shit. So I stopped playing chess. But I still play now for fun. I play Ed Latimore. If you know this, Ed Latimore on Twitter, me and him, we have chess beef. If you're wondering who wins, he's good, and I ain't that much better, but I've got that edge. So I love chess. The reason I love chess is because, 2 reasons. It is extremely frustrating, and I like doing something that I can never master. Chess is probably the only thing that makes me feel stupid. Because
I have bad news for you, Tate.
I'm a smart dude. Anything else I've ever tried to do or learn is easy.
What about skydiving? Remember that time you bitched out on skydiving, Tate? That was fun.
Trying to fathom chess is frustrating like fuck. It's so complicated. And 2, chess applies perfectly to life. And you say this, and people go, well, it's a board game. It applies perfectly to life. And if you look at a chessboard, you look at life, and how you strategize and put things in place, a chessboard and life mimic each other perfectly. So, the queen is the most powerful piece on the board besides the king. The king is you. The king can't die. If you die, the game's over. You cannot be trapped, you cannot die. So every single piece is disposable besides the king. That's you. Your queen is your most powerful piece. Now if you're sitting there going, well, why is that true? Your queen is your most powerful piece because how your woman affects your mentality is extremely important. If you have a woman who just negatively damages your brain with constant negative emotion.
Say it's more because the game is based off of, you know, monarchical system of government, so the king and the queen are the most powerful pieces. I think it's pretty simple. It's not that complicated.
You're not the man you could be. So that's why your queen's the most powerful piece on the board. You need a woman who is ready to wait for you 10 years when you go to jail. And you need a woman who shuts the fuck up when you tell her to. And it is not easy to find. That's extremely important. If you're sitting there going, how do I do that? Buy the PhD course.
Legit, Tate's like, I need a woman that I can verbally abuse. That's the kind of woman I'm looking for. Great, Tate. What a shock.
PhD will tell you how. PhD course will tell you how to tell if you have a quality woman or a bad woman. It's all in the course. So it's for sale on the website. But your queen is the most powerful piece on the board because it affects your mentality directly.
Let me find... I think Michaela Peterson dated him. How do you spell Michaela's name? Oh, God. This is going to be butchered. Prepare for awful spelling. Michaela Peterson and Tate. Oh, God. Oh, God. Michaela, no. Don't do this. No, do. Who the fuck is this?
Miss Peterson is being pimped out by the meat king, Mr. Plenty of Wudan. He wrote, she said she likes top quality meat.
Oh, God!
And here he is pictured with his new queen in a totally natural pose. Trying to make that arm look as big as possible. And she writes back, you're such a brat, it's unbelievable. She knows she's being disrespected. She likes it. She's a dirty little girl. Mr. Peterson, I think it's time you bring baby girl home and clean her room. You know? She's acting kind of wild. I think she has a daughter. Why is she dating this absolute pimp? And I mean it. This guy is a pimp. He started a webcam company. He has a warehouse where cam girls come and jerk off in front of cameras in his dirty. It's crazy. What's going on here?
A lot of you who know me well know that I've owned strip clubs, I've owned webcam studios. At one point I had a hierarchy with female management, and me at the top. I had 75 women working.
Look at this spit is flying. This guy.
Okay.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Jouster Zen says, oh, God, gross. Yeah, agree. Agree.
But in a game of chess, in certain situations, sometimes the queen's got to be sacrificed. Sometimes the queen has to die so that you can live. That's how it goes. You got your rooks. Your rooks are your brothers, if you're lucky enough to have a brother. It's the second most powerful piece on the board. On the chessboard you have two, I have one, but one's enough. Rooks are your brothers. They back shit up. If you ever play chess, you know that rooks are not necessarily a frontline piece. They're always supporting something. You put a rook behind a pawn, and you fire that pawn off the board. Or you put a rook aiming at the king to add pressure. You can attack that square with weaker pieces. That's what rooks are for. You have your knights and bishops. These are close friends. Close friends that you've made. Maybe you'll have 5 close friends in your life that you've known for years and years. People you work together with, people you make money with. If you're sitting there going, I don't have a close friend I make money with, then you're a fucking idiot. Because what are your friends for if it's not for conquering the world? When me and my friends sit down at a fucking chessboard, me and my friends sit down anywhere, all we talk about is how to make more money. That's what me and my friends are interested in.
That sounds fucking boring as shit.
How are you making money today? How's this working? What have you did this? World conquering. On a chessboard, you put your bishops and your knights in the right positions to conquer the board. And with your friends, you should be sitting down talking about how to conquer life. And then you have your pawns. And your pawns are employees. Because pawns are the most disposable piece on the board. They're extremely important.
Welcome to capitalism, where people like Tate are your boss.
And a good pawn can get to the end of the board and become something else. But in general, pawns are there to protect the other pieces, and pawns are there to die. This is the reality of life, and it's reflected perfectly on the chessboard. Now, if you're watching this and you don't know how to play chess, you should fucking learn. Because I guarantee when you have a basic concept of chess, a basic grasp of it, it will change the way you view the world. So if you're sitting there watching this going, oh, but I want to watch anime, or I want to finish this box set, fuck that garbage. You should play chess.
Is he the temporarily embarrassed billionaire type? I mean, he's a millionaire. He was an MMA fighter professionally, and he has own businesses, and he scams dudes to come to seminars where he'll teach them how to be like him. So, like, the dude has money.
So I'm going to put together a chess course.
Capitalism rewarding the worst kind of people.
Now, there's a whole bunch of free chess information on the internet if you want to learn it yourself. But my coach, international master, Eric Kislick, he charges £200 an hour for chess lessons. He's who teaches me now since my father died. He's exceptionally good. And he loves my YouTube videos. He's watched them all and he thinks I'm funny. He's also a Trump supporter, obviously, like all real men are. And he's put together a chess course, which is on sale on Amazon through Chess Networks. I think he's charging $500 for the course. He's told me I can sell it on my channel for much, much less. So we're going to put that up there. So if you're basic at chess, you're good at chess, or you've never played before, buy this. Because at the end of the course, you're going to be able to better grasp a chessboard. You're going to learn a whole bunch of shit. You're going to get a new hobby, which is fantastic. We can meet up and have a beer at a game sometime. Plus, you get a better view of the world.
Nothing sounds worse to me than spending social time with Tate. He's legit the worst kind of person. Ugh. Alright. Maybe some Elliot Hulse. Most popular. He doesn't have new videos, but let's take a look at some of his most popular. Because we haven't watched an actual full Tate video in quite a while. Marriage is slavery. Let's check this one out.
Is marriage slavery? Is marriage a form of bondage or imprisonment that a person that doesn't love freedom subjects themselves to? It's a really good question.
No, don't ask yourself rhetorical questions and then be like, that's a really good question. You've basically just said that your own question was good. Don't ask yourself hypothetical questions and go, that's a really good question. Sounds a little vapid.
It's a great question that I was asked and exposed by one of our viewers. He points at me, exposes me, and says, Elliot, you say you love freedom so much. And I love freedom. I've come to love freedom just as much as you. But there's a contradiction in the way you're living your life, and I'm a bit confused. You say you love freedom, but yet you're married. And on top of that, you've decided to have children. I have 4 children. Why would somebody that loves freedom so much subject himself to the slavery and bondage of other people, right? Before I answer that question, the way I think today is very different than the way I thought when I got married. It's taken some time for me to evolve into this because I've thought the same way that you thought. And maybe what I'm going to share with you is just a story I'm telling myself, but it might be resourceful to you.
At least it seems like he's responding to some red pill incel type person and disagreeing. That's good. Sex transmutation, managing your sex energy. Trying to find one that looks good. Ew, easy sex with dumb girls. Gross. Let's do sex transmutation, managing your sex energy.
What's up, gentlemen? Today we have an interesting question from one of our friends about sex transmutation. In fact, he's read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and it's perhaps the most mystical and I think misunderstood chapter in that book. Again, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, for those of you who want to go and read it. But it's called Sex Transmutation. And in the book, he alludes to the fact that there is an energy, we call it sex energy, within the human body that can be used to either produce riches, because the book is about building business and riches and power in the world, or through extending that sexual energy, the masculine energy, into the literal feminine, a woman. So there's this idea with regard to sex transmutation that if you don't have women, you're going to be a better success in the world. So you're not having sex with women, meaning you're going to have now all that sexual energy to go and achieve your goals.
Fellas, is it gay to have sex with women? We did it. We got there.
Fight in the world and to be a winner, right? So a number of things our friend offers here. Number one, he says, I haven't had sex with a woman in 3 years. He's 25 years old, and he says, well, I'm not that good at attracting women, number one. And number two, he says, but I jerk off every day. I watch pornography and I jerk off every day. Now he's concerned that although he calls himself an entrepreneur and he's got a tremendous career, he seems to be a go-getter. He seems to be very much in the world doing his things. He's feeling guilty about jerking off every day because is that somehow going to lessen the potency of my sexual drive, my sexual transmutation into challenging?
Dude, being horny's not gonna make you a better businessman. Just jerk off if you want. If you don't want to, don't. It's not gonna affect you in any sort of, like, substantive way.
And winning in the world. So, I'll begin like this. Prior to the physical expression of sex, be it the expression of a penis.
Yeah, I can get that one.
Yeah, because I'm worried that he's going to delete it. Just, like, send it to my email.
Okay. Sorry, everyone. Just downloading a video real quick.
Hey, chat. An update. So, I am emailing the video. We're downloading it, and we're emailing the video to the superintendent of the district, the HR department specifically for professional responsibility, and I'm emailing it to every school board member.
Fuck this guy. This is gonna be great. I really hope he gets a video out in like a week that's like, I got fired from my job!
I mean, who knows? He might not even be a substitute teacher anymore. But I'm just gonna say, you know, to whom it concerns, this dude is fucked.
Just waiting for this to finish downloading so I can email it.
Don't let them accidentally see my email.
I won't. I'll turn this thing off when I... How old is the video? It's only like 3 or 4 days old.
It's a week old.
Hmm. To whomst it may concern. Hey, this guy's a pedo. Fire him. Watch out, friendos. We're about to do a cancel culture. Let me just email this real quick, and then we'll get back. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Gotta go.
Oh, it's the red guy. 100%. People aren't very good at hiding their information online. They're actually very bad at it. Like, very bad. And no one's gonna show up at his house because they won't know his address. I'm literally just sending it to people that are in charge of determining whether someone's fit to be a substitute teacher.
Uploading. 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 So how's everyone doing today? Well, I hope. Andrew Dickerson says that's why I only ever use my real name for social media. I have nothing to hide. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Hey, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's possible the school district won't give a fuck.
I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. I think they'll give a fuck.
I hope so, but you know. You never know. What are you gonna say in the email?
I'll send it to you.
Okay, just curious.
But the superintendent looks like a really great lady. She's a doctor, so. It is a public school. Should I don't really know. Should I, like, kind of write up an email that they could send as well? Without giving them his name.
No. I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay. I'll let you all know if they respond to me.
Send. Share with one. Turn link. Share. Edit. Yeah. Send. 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 There we go. Done. Let me just turn the video thing back on.
If I get the email written out first, then Hannah can read it probably. Not sure how long it'll take me to get the right words.
Penis or a vagina, the way you show up in this world is an expression.
If anybody wants to do me a solid and find some particularly cringy parts of the video and just send me timestamps so that, like, I can just point them to, like, really bad stuff, you can just put the timestamp in the chat.
Here's a link to that video in case you want to help her out with that.
Of our sex. I'm a man, my wife is a female, she's a woman. And the sexual act itself, the union of penis and vagina, the literal act of screwing. There is an energy, there is a spirit, there's a power, there's a consciousness that's associated with feminine and masculine. And they both have very distinct traits about them. And if we come to understand how to hone in, harbor, and use the power of these contrasting energies, we really become a mastermind. We really take full control of our life, and we really can become a success both in business, career, riches, like Napoleon Hill, and
dude, just get that nut if that's what you want. Who cares? It has nothing to do with your success in business or whatever.
Have a big, beautiful, healthy family and a wife who's very satisfied, or a girlfriend. Right now I'm just describing my life, right? Very satisfied with your discharge of sexual energy.
Can we not use the word discharge in this conversation? Thanks, that'd be great.
Into her and into the home. Your physical sexual energy, meaning fucking and procreation. I have 4 children. It's the management of the energy more so than the management of your dick. And even if you have a wife or a girlfriend and you're having sex every day with her, or if you're jerking off, the physical act of ejaculating, of discharging the sexual energy in your physical body, I don't believe, and of course there's so many arguments with regard to this, and there's even science behind it. I'm just offering my experience. I have no proof, right? I didn't do research on this.
I'm shocked. I can imagine Elliot in his house with a little lab coat on, some test tubes of semen that he's put colored dye in so it looks more science-y. I have to measure my sexual energy output.
All I can offer is what's happened to me. There is very little
Sorry, I'm laughing at the so feet, huh? It's from our D&D game. The funniest thing I think Alex has ever said in his entire life. Unintentionally. So, in our D&D game that we play over on Jake's channel at twitch.tv/actualjake, we've time traveled to where my player character, the professor, that's the elf woman in the bowler hat with the goggles that you see as the icon for this channel and my Twitter and YouTube channel and everything. Anyway, we're in the home city of the professor. And Avelios was seducing a woman who thought he was an escort because we needed her eye in order to get into a facility because they use retinal scans. So Avelios is in her room trying to service her, let's say, and she's into like a bunch of stuff, like getting tickled with feathers and like getting tied. I don't know, it's a whole thing. And then she mentions something about like doing something with her feet, and Alex, trying to be as seductive as possible, goes, "So, feet, huh?" And I just can't. It was the funniest shit I've ever fucking seen. So, feet, huh?
Especially if you—
oh, it was spitting on toes. She's like, yeah, spit on my toes. There's probably a clip of it. Go check Actual Jake's channel, twitch.tv/actualjake. Also, you know what? Fuck it. I mentioned it. I'll bring it up. Twitch. Let me see Jake's channel. Someone must have clipped it. Like, it was hilarious.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Dude spanking dudes. Who is this? This isn't Tate, right? No, that's Elliot Hulse. Videos. Let's find clips. Let's see if I can find Sophie, huh? Oh, no. Why won't it scroll down more? Is that it? Come on. How many clips get saved? Clips.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
I don't want top. I just want, like... oh, here we go. Here it is. This is from our D&D campaign. Thank you to, Django Fett for following. Here's the clip from our D&D game. This is Alex here up in the top right. He plays Avelios. There's me playing the professor. Sarah, Legend of Phoenix, as Elenia. And Randy as Icilius. And Jake, of course, as the DM. Say some shit to us.
And I... oh. Feet, huh? Fucking
oh, feet, huh?
Like, what the it's so fucking like...
Anna, I feel so bad for you. It's just that dumb top energy that you told us you had.
You know how fucking... like, at minimum, like 68 people witnessing this.
It's 64 now, you're driving them away.
So... I can't even with that shit. I can't even with that shit. Oh god. It's just gonna be me going, ah! All the way down. Have any more clips of this? That was a fun game, by the way. See if there are any more.
Disappointing.
And she goes, ooh, ah, ooh, yeah. Yes. And Ronnie goes, he's gonna fuck with the lock a little bit more. Oh God! Oh God, Rodney! He goes, she goes, oh, what was that? Oof.
Nothing, and I kind of keep going up the legs more.
Spitting on our legs?
Well, no, with the
That's a fun game. If you I'm sure 99% of you here are, but if you haven't, give actual Jake a follow. We do D&D usually on Thursdays over there. And he also does, you know, Chud stuff,
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
Thank you to Cerberus Frankie for following. Welcome to the stream.
You're highly charged, and I think this is why one answer won't work for all people. I'm very highly charged. I've got a lot of sexual energy.
Jake is a chud now? Oh God, what did he do? Did Jake do something that I'm unfamiliar with? This is some sort of white supremacist thing. Oh, anti-white violence, uh-huh. Jesus H. Christ. No thank. No thank.
Not meaning I've got to jerk off twice a day and
oh, you're just making a joke? Okay, good.
Fuck my wife every night. Meaning I've got a lot of vitality. Very vital in that way. So I can insert myself into the world. And I don't say all this so I sound like Elliot Hulse is fucking amazing, and I wish I was Elliot Hulse. I say this because I've structured my life in a particular way, and I've made use of
Minecraft, Andrew Dickerson,
certain innate qualities, but I've also built up certain things that I knew were weak and imbalanced in myself, so that I can win in the world, right? Think and grow rich. I think and grow rich. I do that, and have a happy, healthy, huge family. And satisfy my wife, like I did last night. She satisfied me. We satisfied each other. We say thank you after sex.
That's a little weird, but okay.
So, how is it that you can do this? Well, with regard to women, and when I say women, of course, it's the embodiment of sexual...
Baha asking me if she should send pedo guy's video to his mom.
of the feminine energy in a human body. So women are humans before they are women. Just like you're a human.
Wait.
Before you're a man. So this is no knock against women. This is just how the feminine energy shows up in a body with a vagina. And it's so funny how the penis and the vagina are embodiments of the way the energy acts. Masculine energy goes out like this. Masculine energy builds up and goes out, right?
What are you basing this on? It sounds like you're just like asserting things without any evidence. Define your sexual energy. What are you even talking about when you say sexual energy? And what is going out and doing this? What do you mean?
Right? So when you have an idea for a business, it's very masculine to think of the idea. You're charging your...
What's the in Minecraft thing? Oh, like threats of violence and threats of violence, whether be towards someone else or someone else, are against Twitch TOS. So there's a joke where people are like, I want to punch him in the face in Minecraft, because you can talk about punching people in the face in a video game. It's just a joke.
Yourself. It's fucking foreplay. You charge, you charge, you charge. You get so excited that you stand up and you go and get a loan from the bank. You go and build a website. You go and make some videos. That's very ejaculatory. It's very discharging. You're going out into the world. Men and women have this energy. But the penis, that's what it does. It's like a gun, firearms. Discharge.
Nope. I can't. I can't even with Elliot. I want to do some sort of quantum leap cleanse. Been watching Quantum Leap lately. I love Quantum Leap. It's one of my favorite shows. If you haven't seen it, it's great. Oh, this is a sad part from Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Does this have... Yeah.
For a while, that was the slang.
Far out.
For those of you who don't know the premise of Quantum Leap, this is, Sam Beckett is the name of the character. Well, hold on. Let me just... I can... The show can explain it better than I do.
Theorizing that one could time travel within his own lifetime, Dr. Sam Beckett stepped into the Quantum Leap accelerator and vanished. He awoke to find himself trapped in the past, facing mirror images that were not his own, and driven by an unknown force to change history for the better. His only guide on this journey is Al, an observer from his own time, who appears in the form of a hologram that only Sam can see and hear. And so Dr. Beckett finds himself leaping from life to life, striving to put right what once went wrong, and hoping each time that his next leap
will be the leap home. So basically, time travels around and jumps into other people's bodies and helps save people's personal history, basically. Where was the thing I was gonna look at?
Yeah, for a while, that was the slang.
Far out.
Nobody says far out anymore. They say, well, awesome for a while, and then radical, and...
Awesome?
Migu has a video. Hold on. Sliders was superior to Quantum Leap. How dare you? How fucking dare you? Untrue.
There's a... Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a lot better than far out. Awesome.
Oh, boy.
In this scene, he has basically told this girl that he is from the future. He's also warned her that, like, the brother is going to die, but of course she doesn't believe him because she doesn't think he's actually from the future. But in this scene, he does convince her and it freaks her out.
What else can you tell me about the future?
Well, you're gonna meet a boy in a couple of years named Chuck.
Yuck, I can never go with a guy named Chuck.
You're gonna elope with him.
Awesome.
Katie, there's a little problem. Chuck has a drinking problem.
Got it. Don't go out with Chuck. When I meet him.
You're just humoring me, aren't you? Like Dad.
Yeah, it's his little sister. He in this episode, he leaps into a younger version of himself and tries to fix his family's issues that happen.
Dad and Mom and Tom. None of you really believe me.
Oh my God. If you really are from the future, you know if he's dead.
Chuck?
Paul McCartney, the White Album. If you play Revolution number 9 backwards, the Beatles are singing Paul is dead.
No, Paul's not dead. After the Beatles split up.
The Beatles split up?
Pretty soon, I think.
Oh, God. Wait till I tell Elaine.
Paul forms this group called Wings, and they come out with some great tunes.
And John? What's John gonna do? He's my favorite.
Katie. John.
Don't tell her.
John is gonna write my favorite song.
Your favorite song?
Mm-hmm.
In the future?
Yeah.
Well, sing it to me. Or are you gonna use that Swiss cheese brain excuse you gave me when I asked you who'd be my first boyfriend?
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You might say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world really is one. Imagine those. Katie, what is it?
I've never heard that before.
Of course not. Lennon is not going to write it for another couple of years.
No!
Sam. Katie, what is it?
I don't want to believe you.
Why?
I don't want to believe you know the future. Because if you do, Tommy's gonna die.
Oh, Katie. Katie.
I don't want my brother to die in Vietnam.
Quantum Leap's a great show if you haven't seen it. Check it out. It's a really good show. The finale's not great. But the rest of the show's good. So, check it out if you haven't seen it before. In fairness, I love anything with time travel as a plot point. Like, I love Doctor Who, love Back to the Future, love Quantum Leap. I love everything time travel. Even not very good time travel I tend to like. I don't know why. It's just like my favorite subgenre. Sci-fi is probably my favorite genre, and time travel fiction is like my favorite subgenre of science fiction or science fantasy. What's the context for the I'm retarded scene? You've probably seen the GIF of this before. First of all, let me be clear. At the time that this GIF, you've probably seen this GIF, but at the time this was made, that was not considered derogatory. It was just considered how you referred to special needs people at the time. So let me be clear about that. The show is not being derogatory in its usage, like, just for the fact. But basically, Sam, because he leaps into the bodies of other people, he leaps into a special needs person, and most of the episodes of the show start with him looking in the mirror, or many of them, at least at some point in the episode, he will look in the mirror and see who he is inhabiting, and he looks in the mirror, sees someone with special needs, and goes, I'm that. And that's the context for that, if you're curious where that GIF comes from. It's actually a really great episode, too. To be fair, doctors still use the R word. Yeah, I know, but colloquially it's been muddied by people using it as a derogatory insult, so I don't like to use it. Yeah, it was a person named Jimmy with Down syndrome. It's a really good episode of the show. His goal in that episode is basically to get Jimmy accepted at his new job, because it's like the 60s, the 70s, people with special needs are often put into institutions, and it's his job to sort of get people to accept him so he doesn't get put in an institution. The show's great. It's incredibly progressive, especially for the time. Like, the show, like, has, like, pro-gay messaging. Like, it has, like, an episode where Sam leaps into someone who's been sexually assaulted and, like, trying to convince people to believe her. It has, you know, feminist messages. Like, it's a really great show. It's awesome. It has episodes where Sam, like, for instance, leaps into a black man in the South in the 60s, and he sits down at a lunch counter, which goes as well as you would expect. It's a really, really great show, so check it out. Oh yeah, the scene where he looks in the mirror seems bad out of context, but it's you just have to see the show. There are Christian undertones in the sense that they believe in some sort of deity leaping him around. But let me be clear. This is a show that also includes Bigfoot, aliens, ghosts, and vampires. So the fact that there is, like, a deity in this universe is fine with me. I'm fine with the idea of a deity, even though I'm an atheist, in, a fictional context. It makes sense to me that, like, in a fictional universe, there could be, you know, a god or gods. In the same way that, like, in D&D, there are gods that we deal with all the time. And I'm fine with it. They're, like, part of that storytelling universe, so it doesn't bother me. And they're never clear on, like, who this god is. They never say it's like, this is the Christian god. It's just, like, general, you know, deity. So it's fine. It's fine. Alison Pregler from Movie Nights has some pretty good stuff on this, too. In terms of, like, the weirdest Quantum Leap novels, and she helped find the lost final scene to the show. Pretty cool stuff.
Time, who appear. How am I doing in this uniform? Can see and hear, and so Dr. Betts went wrong. Leap home.
Here's one of the best intros to the show. In season 4, they started doing some interesting things because the ratings were down. If you've seen Quantum Leap, you'll probably remember this scene. Baja, maybe don't watch this section as this has spoilers for later in season 4.
Sam? Sam, you okay? Hal? You okay? Huh? You must leap with me. Oh, we did it, Sam. Sam, what the hell am I doing in this uniform? What's going on, Sam?
I think... Come here.
Sam, what the hell's happening, huh? Oh, boy.
Basically, they switch places in that episode, and Al becomes the Leaper, and Sam becomes the hologram. So. Okay, that's enough Quantum Leap stuff. Sorry, I'm getting nerdy about Quantum Leap just because I really, really like the show. So. Just seriously, though, watch Quantum Leap. I want more people to get into it, because I want them to reboot it. Because the show never got really a great finale, so it'd be awesome if they restarted Quantum Leap, but still kept everything that happened in Quantum Leap canon, but then maybe have, like, Sam's daughter, maybe her name can even be Samantha, I don't know, and she can decide to take up the project, a similar time travel project. She becomes a Leaper, specifically because she wants to go find her dad. I don't know if Al would be in it, and he'd cameo at least, but maybe have a new team with Samantha, the daughter, and some new friend of hers who's basically the Al. I think that would be a lot of fun. Because it's a versatile, like, They had play the one where Sam leaps into a monkey. I don't know about that one. That was not very good. Yeah, it's a versatile premise because in any episode it can go from like a western to a noir mystery to a cop drama to a personal interest story to a story about racism to it's just every episode is so different because of the premise of him just leaping into someone else's problem and having to solve it. So, check out Quantum Leap. Looks like there's some full episodes on YouTube, probably up illegally. Not gonna watch them, obviously, but just if you would like to go look at YouTube, that's your business. What else? Let's look at this We Hunted Mammoths website. Apparently they cover incel stuff. Is Sam the same appearance each time? Yeah, Sam looks like, to the audience, Sam looks like Sam. So they can have, a main actor. Whose name I'm forgetting. Shoot. Scott Bakula. But everyone else sees Sam as the person that he has leapt into. One more thing, actually, before we get off the Quantum Leap thing. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia did a special where they effectively got quantum leapt into some different people, and they ran into Scott Bakula. So I got... It's streaming on NBC.com. Well, there you go. So in this, they find Scott Bakula at a nursing home as they're trying to do their quantum leap. And, they're like, are you researching a role? Because you're like a janitor at this nursing home? And he's like, there's an awkward pause, and they go, oh no, didn't do much after Quantum Leap, did ya? And he's like, no, I'm doing something else. It's funny. And after they leave, this happens. Oh, I need a video. Come on, where's the video?
How did they know that my wife took it all? And I'm not researching roles. How did they know?
Oh, Ziggy, by the way, who he's about to mention, is the supercomputer that they get information from in Quantum Leap.
Ziggy, if you hear me, take me far, far from here. Let me leap to 89. That was a better year. I miss my old Camaro and my mansion in Van Nuys. Wish I still hung with Nash Bridges, played poker with a fall guy. Oh,
Ziggy, can you see my tears?
Ziggy, lead me far, far from here.
There was also an ending where it turned out he was someone else, but I can't find that one.
Top side out.
Oh boy.
I love Quantum Leap. I love it so much. Okay, I will stop now. I can't believe this many people are still watching after I went like on a 45-minute tangent about Quantum fucking Leap. He was in a lot of stage musicals. I think he was nominated for a Tony at one point. Anyway, Incels agree lesbians and asexual women don't exist because all women are chadsexuals, by David Futrell. Attention, asexual ladies and lesbians. It looks like the incels have figured out your dirty little secret, which is that you don't exist. No matter how you define your sexuality, you're actually a chadsexual. Able, willing, and eager to have sex with any chad that comes your way, even if you pretend to like only women or to not like sex at all. That, at least, is the consensus over at the Incels.co forums, where the regulars like to discuss this topic endlessly, and then some. The only female sexuality is chadsexual, declares a fellow called Simp. Speaking for many, quote, every single woman would fuck a chad, even lesbians, end quote. Jesus Christ. I've not seen Steins Gate, no. A commenter called, Reprobus is really angry at all these phony lesbians who won't fuck less than perfect specimens of manhood like himself. I hate foids in general, he begins. Ew. Femoids. Let me turn this off, the image, and let me try and look at their forum for a sec, because I'd imagine there's probably some fucked up images. So, let me see. Okay, I don't see any images. Let me just read this whole post then from incels.co from Reprobus, who says, I hate foids in general, but lesbians are the greediest bunch. Lesbians, it doesn't matter what they look like, can get a girlfriend, and the odds are never against them. See post in Sig? What? Women, you haven't talked to many lesbians, I don't think, if you think that this is the case. Women in general don't need to be lesbians. So many men on Earth will fuck them any day of the week. What do you mean don't need to be lesbians? Some people just are. It has nothing to do with need to be. They are. What? Nothing about being lesbian is difficult. They are a waste of resources. Oh, go into the old bag of utilitarianism because, of course, incels provide so much to society. And the ultimate sign of greed. There's no reason for a foid need to use some plastic dildo when 1,000 other men in their phone will do it for free. Hey, have you considered that they don't want to fuck you? All lesbian sex emulates how a man fucks a woman for the most part. No. No. Apparently you've not talked to any lesbians about this one. Of course, the incel thinks that every single lesbian sexual encounter involves some sort of dildo or strap-on. No. No, friendo. Not how it works. I believe there is a sound reason for any man to be frustrated with these foids. They will date land tank foids that you mog from hell and back and act like you don't exist, but as soon as Chad comes walking in, he's the prize. No, if someone's a lesbian, they don't sleep with men. What are you talking about? Are you thinking of bisexuals? Here are some ideas I came up with off the top of why lesbians exist. 1, to be brutalized by Giga Chad. Jesus Christ. 2, to make themselves feel like they're in control of their life after... Oh, no. Oh, God. These people are shitbags. And they don't even need these girlfriends because there are men out there waiting to have sex with them. Yeah, I read this post. Blah, 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 blah. Here's another one. Over for Reddit cells managed to work the dog pill into his analysis. All foids are hardwired to be chadsexual. They might fuck a girl or a dog once in a while if Chad is not currently available, but it's impossible for them to overwrite their natural attraction to Chad. What? Do they think women are fucking dogs for some reason? Why? Why do they think that women are fucking dogs? What? If a femoid is in an environment full of subhumans, she will claim to be asexual, but once that Chad Tyrone comes along, she will become the degenerate slut. all other femoids are. Oh, no, no. Asexual people exist and are valid, you fucking douche. What are you on about? They're all Chad sexuals. I've encountered my fair share of self-proclaimed asexual. It's possible someone just told you they were asexual because you were harassing them and wanted you to go away. It's just an excuse not to have sex with their looks match because they only want Chad. Yikerinos. Incels are the fucking worst. Cat pictures! I'll take some cat pictures. Nice. Some vagina tips from a dude who knows less than zero about vaginas. Hey, vagina havers, if any of you are in need of some unsolicited advice about your vaginas and their proper upkeep, there's a dude on the Standard Cells subreddit who would be happy to help. Well, maybe happy is the wrong word for it. In a post with the combative title, Advice to Foids on How to Take Care of Their Vagina Because They're Too Dumb to Figure It Out on Their Own, Therefore Require Men to Teach Them, an incel redditor called Representative Way 39 warns against the nefarious practice of jamming shit up there, specifically tampons. Oh, God. Oh. This is the fucking worst. Incels are just the worst. Okay, so this incel says modern vaginas, whatever the fuck that means, are just as repulsive as their bearers. Bro, you sure you're not gay? If you find vaginas repulsive, you're probably just not into vag. Like, that's fine, but what? All historically depicted vaginas are neat and tucked. They didn't have massive dildos or sex with countless men. That's not how anything works, friendo. What are you talking about? And no pedo. Oh, God. He's about to say some pedo shit. And no pedo, but no young prepubescent girls have roast beef. Jesus fucking Christ. People's vaginas look different. It has nothing to do with what or who they have put in or around their vaginas for the last fucking time. This show only happens after they start jamming shit up there. No. Girls, when you put your tampons in, do it delicately. Too many of you pull the vagina to the side too roughly. Fuck off. Of course, doing that is going to cause the flaps to become worn and become loose and dangle. Oh, God. These people are the worst. They're just the goddamn worst. People have all sorts of vaginas of different shapes and sizes. It's fine. It's great. Your genitals are valid. Bad women's anatomy? No kidding. Okay, that's enough incel. That's fucking bad. Jesus. Here's a cleanse. Someone growing a jungle in their New York apartment.
And they don't even say anything at first. It's just kind of like the jaw drop.
Oh, by the way, this is fun. Let me find this. Hans Wormhat replied to me. Hans Wormhat, who I deal with on a semi-regular basis on this show. Someone says, hey, no viewer sub-shaming, which fair enough. Yeah, I was making fun of Hans for some views or something, which I really shouldn't do, because a lot of people don't get views on YouTube. It's fine. Anyway, Hans says, well, Hannah pays to advertise her channel. No, I don't. Untrue. I'm broke as shit enough as it is, much less paying for advertising my channel. And or is pushed by YouTube. I wish. YouTube, if you'd like to promote me, that'd be great. I'd love it. When you search Hans Wormhat, my channel, Hannah's videos pop up at the top even though her views aren't high. Seems like Hannah isn't very empathetic and also is projecting her own low view insecurities. God bless you. So obviously, don't pay to promote my channel. YouTube isn't promoting it. Baja Blast, after this, actually took a look using an incognito browser. And no, Hans's videos comes at the top, which means that Hans is mad because the algorithm has seen him probably obsessively watching my videos about him, and now it's placing my videos at the top for him, and he's like, YouTube is in on a conspiracy! When in actuality, he is probably just looking at my videos and it's pushing to the top. Not to mention the fact that I put Hans Wormhat in the titles of videos about him, because I need to explain to people what I'm doing in the title. Like, hey, Hans Wormhat doesn't understand this. So when you type Hans Wormhat, my videos come up, because he doesn't put his own name in the title of his own videos, for obvious reasons. Hans isn't the best at any sort of thinking, though, so difficult for him to understand that, I guess. Hannah is a bully. That's why her content focuses on being mean to people for sharing their opinion. Reaction channels are being called out these days for low-effort content they put out, mostly hate-filled. People are waking up to its trash content. Hans, you don't think slavery happened, and you're gonna call me hate-filled? Really? For calling out your bullshit? Good call. And then Hans Wormhat says, I do nothing but rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. Get some original content. Takes no skill to react, it's just pretext for you being a bully. Go figure, a trans person whose content revolves around being a big bully. Nailing it, Hans. Ironically, your entire channel is also reaction content. You look at pictures of celebrities and then claim they're trans. Or you look at animals and claim they're false. That's still reaction content, Hans. And reaction content or no, at least my content has anchoring in reality, as opposed to you who think space doesn't exist. So, nah, Hans, I think we're going to keep covering you because it's a fun time. In fact, maybe tomorrow, because tomorrow's Tinfoil Tuesday. It's possible we'll do a whole Hans stream. That feels good. Maybe some Hans stream.
Hey there. Welcome to my apartment.
This is Summer, an environmentalist, model and author who has over 500 plants in her Brooklyn apartment.
So when people come into the house, I like this element of feeling like they're walking through a forest. My friends would always get like whacked in the face with a branch, but I was like, that's the point, you're like walking through the forest.
Over the past 6 years, she has amassed a staggering collection of indoor plants.
So many different types of plants. I would say that this is a borderline obsession. So this is my kitchen space, and I love it because I love the green on the walls and the green plants. This is kind of a cool plant. It's called a toothache plant, and if you eat this, it's kind of like getting a shot of Novocaine with a little Szechuan pepper involved. My mom and dad named me like Summer Rain. Like a lot of people ask me if that's my real name. And my dad always jokes like, you could have become a porn star or an environmentalist. And this is my couch and just like a little place to kind of just come and sit and rest and relax. So this is the place where I kind of like work / sleep. This was the first plant that started it all. This is my fiddle-leaf fig. I grew up in the country, so it was so natural for me to have like plants in my life. In fact, like I think it's so unnatural not to have plants. In August, I converted this from a closet to a kitchen grow garden. So I have everything from like lemon-scented geranium to broadleaf thyme, taro root, Cuban sage, bananas. We have some pineapples. We have some microgreens.
Hello.
Hello.
Email?
Yeah. Hey, chat. I'm gonna read the email that I sent. I sent it to the superintendent of the district and the HR department that's responsible for professional conduct.
Careful
so
sitting on the...
I'm not sitting on it. I have my foot on the ground. I'm just leaning. Okay. I hope everyone can hear me okay. To whom it may concern, I recently came across this extremely concerning video that was posted on YouTube a week ago. I believe it was made by a substitute teacher in your district, and then I said his name, which I'm not going to say. In the video, he defends pedophilia and blames the victims who were groomed by, I can't pronounce, Hashinshin. He mentions he has been a substitute for a while, and I don't believe anyone who defends pedophilia based on the fact that they were not prepubescent children should be allowed to teach anyone. Below, I am linking the YouTube video. In case it is deleted, I'm also attaching it as a downloaded file. I've also put timestamps that denote the most concerning parts to me, and then I have the timestamp where he says that grooming 15 to 16-year-old kids isn't pedophilia, timestamp for some casual homophobia he threw in, timestamp for where he blames the victims and shames the 15-year-old girls who were being groomed, and expresses disdain for teenage girls as he has been a substitute teacher and calls them a burden. Timestamp where it shows him playing that 16-year-old girl's TikToks. And then I said, I believe this is wholly inappropriate behavior for any teacher, including a substitute. I'm emailing this to you because I'm concerned and I believe he is working in your district. I could be mistaken, and I thought someone should look into it. Best, a concerned citizen. And I sent this through a non-identifiable server, so they don't have my name or my email address or anything. And it's, yeah, so it's untraceable, but yeah. I hope that someone looks into it.
That would be great. Thank you. You're amazing.
I tried.
This is peppercorn. That's a sweet potato. This is actually what the little slip of the sweet potato will eventually grow into. And you can actually even see the sweet potato starting to pop out of the soil. So that will probably be ready for picking in about a month's time, which is totally cool.
Summer typically spends around $100 a month on plants and 30 minutes a day taking care of them.
It's hard to walk into a plant shop without wanting to buy a plant. It's tough.
Yeah, she's in here all the time. She's always buying plants or pots or dirt.
And it's not just money and time that she invests in her ever-growing collection.
This is kind of like wacky, but I started to read one of these books, and it talked about like plants and music. And wouldn't you know that plants do have a preference for different kinds of music? And I thought that was like pretty cool. So they prefer Vedic chants, and then it goes into classical music. Then it goes into rock music, and then it goes into heavy metal. And then it goes into no music. So I thought like, whoa, super trippy, but then at the end of the day, like they're living, breathing creatures, and you know what's great about them is that they don't like talk back. Now that I found out that plants enjoy the music too, then I do play it a little bit louder than before. I don't really talk to my plants in that kind of way, although sometimes. Yeah, sometimes I'll pass by and I'll like touch a leaf. There'll definitely be like kind of loving energy.
And Summer plans to carry on expanding her plant empire into the future.
So how I would like to carry this on in the future would probably be getting a plot of land in the community garden, continuing gardening, and inspiring others to get their garden on. I mean, I think the new cat lady is the plant lady. I'm gonna be that crazy plant lady when I get older. I'm already the crazy plant lady.
By the way, if anyone hasn't, check out my YouTube channel. This is where I post all my streams and stream highlights. I might do some specific content just for it in the future too. That's not stream related, but just, you know, like video stuff that I want to do just on there. So check it out. I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers, and that's kind of my goal, is to get to there. So let me know, or not let me know. So check it out. Words are hard. Alright. I said I was going to do Tim Pool today, because I got introduced to Tim Pool for the first time yesterday. Link to Crazy Plant Lady. I just exited out of it. Let me see if I can Control-Shift-T it. Yeah. Here's the link to Plant Lady if you want it for some reason. So let's find something in terms of Tim Pool, and then we'll probably call it a day after the Tim Pool video. Pim Tool. Why men are refusing to help women and children. Yikes. Antifa leader? There's no such thing as an Antifa leader, dumb shit. Antifa's just anyone who's anti-fascist. I looked at this one already. 4chan has won the internet. Yikes. Hey, Canadian Brunch, I'm doing well. Just looking for a Tim Pool video to watch. YouTube has censored me. The political collapse is coming. Uh-huh. Let's see, the political collapse is coming. DM Trey also has a video. Let me see what that one is.
We have an update on the
I want to do the collapse. We can look at the other one another time, though.
For the past couple of years, I've said that...
Ooh, tiny box. Maybe expand the box that you're in. That'd be good. Also, it's weird that it's over here. I'm used to stream stuff being on the other side. Be on this side of the screen like I am, damn it. Conform your streams to my personal preferences.
The culture war, whatever you want to call it, is going to escalate. And who knows? People might look back in 100 years, and this could be the dawn of a new civil war, as some people have called it. The rhetoric has been flying.
That would be bad. That would be bad. Civil wars are bad, Tim.
Flying around quite a bit. Even recently, people have been talking about the potential for a second civil war. I think that's a bit too hyperbolic. I don't know what you could call what's happening, but maybe complete social upheaval, massive change, who knows? There's a lot of people who go around saying empires only last a few hundred years. I don't believe that's actually true, you know, but people
talk. That's a good question. What's the longest lasting empire? Longest lasting empire. The Roman Empire makes sense. The 10 most long-lived empires in history. Let's check this out. From HowStuffWorks.com. The Portuguese Empire for 584 years. Ottoman Empire for 623 years. The Khmer Empire for... Let's have just... From 802 AD to 1432. Holy shit, that's a long one. Although it only began there. I guess it doesn't necessarily mean it became an actual... Ethiopian Empire began around 1270 AD until 1895. Canem, Holy Roman Empire. There's a joke among historians that says, the Holy Roman Empire, it wasn't holy, it wasn't Roman, and it wasn't an empire. The Holy Roman Empire was seen as a revival of the Western Roman Empire as a political counter to the Roman Catholic Church. The name, however, comes from the fact that, while the emperor was chosen by electors, he was crowned by the Pope in Rome. The empire lasted from 962 to 1806 AD. Everyone I've seen streams on the left. Damn. I guess I'm just the weirdo then. Republic of Venice. 1100 years. The Kush Empire from 1070 BC to 350 AD. And then the Roman Empire. 1,480 years. Goddamn, Rome. That's some crazy shit.
About it. I want to talk about some of the issues that I believe are causing and caused by this rapid transformation we're seeing in society. We're seeing news media collapse. We're seeing the spread of new technology. Social media is dramatically changing how things function. And it's resulting in this weird tribalism. One of the things I want to highlight today specifically is how the media exists in two realities. And they probably know, but don't seem to care. And what ends up happening is then you have the right and the left, however you want to break up the two, larger factions, where they see...
We have the right and the corporatist center left, at best. There isn't really any large, actually leftist media outlets. There's independent creators, but not very many, if any, large media empires that are advocating for actual left-leaning positions.
The same screen with two different movies, to quote Scott Adams, or to paraphrase Scott Adams, which we'll go over that too. But this, I want to talk about this because I saw this tweet from Eric Weinstein, who said, in 2001, I began to believe that the financial world was coming apart and started giving talks. But it didn't year after year. Around 2005, I lost my conviction waiting. He says, at NN Talib told me to stick it out, but I lost my nerve. In 2019, I think the political world is coming apart. And what exactly does that mean, the political world is coming apart? Well, what's interesting about Eric Weinstein's tweet, and he does go on to elaborate, is that in 2000...
Who is Eric Weinstein? He's not related to... Eric Ross Weinstein is an American managing director of Thiel Capital, Peter Thiel's investment firm, a position he's held since 2015. He and his brother Brett Weinstein coined the term intellectual dark web to refer to an informal group of pundits. Jesus Christ. Gross.
2008, we know. The financial world did face, we were hit by the Great Recession. Something did happen, and it was devastating to a lot of people. We're still here. The world carries on. So I want to make sure that when we talk about whatever it is that's coming in the escalation of the culture war, a lot of people seem to think it's going to be a post-apocalyptic wasteland with like roving bands of zombies or something. No, 10 years will go by and we'll be back into whatever system we are. But something is definitely coming. And I believe that's what Eric Weinstein is trying to say when he says, in 2019, I think the political world is coming apart. But I do want to make some important distinctions. In finance, things will change, but so long as society is cohesive, it can rebound. We've seen many depressions. But when it comes to politics, these things kind of escalate to violence and things that can be really dangerous. But Eric Weinstein was asked, what does coming apart mean in this view? And he said, the political world coming apart means an essentially complete inability to agree what happened, what is happening, and what must happen. The two things that are still working well are maintenance, e.g. the grid, banking, and traffic still work for now, and relative nonviolence.
Okay, now when we're talking about stuff like this, thank you Hermit Crab Cakes for following. I do believe that both politically and in terms of news, people exist in sort of two different worlds. But I would argue that one party, if we're talking about this in terms of party politics, is closer to reality than the other. One, for instance, is recognizing the danger of the global pandemic that's killed over 500,000 people, right? Let me even look. Let me just look in the States, not even worldwide. U.S. death from COVID. We're up to almost 160,000 deaths. So people on the left, middle left media, is saying, hey, we need to have mask mandates and to shut down and to try and keep things under control because cases are going up because people are not listening to this. And then you have people on the right who are saying, y'all can't take away my freedom. This mask doesn't do nothing. Which group is more congruous with reality? We don't have a problem where we have two sides that are divorced from reality in different ways. Although, I would say that even stuff like MSNBC is divorced from reality in the sense that they're very corporate media still. We have people who are more or less trying to accurately appraise and understand society and the reality of the world that's going on around us. And then we have Looney Tunes conspiracy theorists on the right who are backed by the fucking president who are just pretending like reality doesn't exist. This is an issue of people on the right, not necessarily people on the left.
But I'll stop there and add a caveat as well. I think you should say relative maintenance, because we have seen many people getting removed from public discourse, banned on YouTube, and censorship has dramatically escalated, as well as the double standards, which we'll get into. One of which, just to give you a reference, is the Daily Beast published the name of a man who made a meme, or allegedly made a meme. We don't even know if he did. That was totally fine by journalism and Twitter standards. James O'Keefe published the name of a woman who was censoring a conservative group on Pinterest. His video on YouTube was removed for privacy violations, and Twitter took down the tweet for privacy violations as well. A clear double standard in that there are the aristocrats and the peasants. Now, I know that aristocrat peasant isn't the perfect way to describe it.
I would call it hyperbolic and hysterical.
There are certain groups that have technological and institutional control, and because of this, I would say maintenance is relatively working, but we are beginning to see cracks in the systems of banking. With, I published a story about the journalist who reached out to several banks, and then ultimately, a day later or so, we saw the Proud Boys, one of the Proud Boys, get his personal bank account shut down.
The Proud Boys are white supremacists. I'm not going to shed a single tear for those fuckers.
So the grid is under attack. Will this escalate? I personally believe it will. And we've seen a dramatic escalation in the past few days.
I just want to warn you, the last time we had a civil war, the people who are on the side of white supremacy lost. Just for the record.
With censorship, after the Vox adpocalypse, it's gotten
did not go well for them.
Way worse. The issue is that it's a massive shock to the system. If these things were happening very slowly, people probably wouldn't care. But it's happening so damn fast, people are going to start freaking out. But we'll see. Let's read on. Eric says, milkshaking, for example, is a performative rehearsal for something else.
Someone threw a milkshake at me! This is practice for the Civil War! I know, like when you see, teen comedies from the 80s and the 70s and a food fight starts, I just think, these poor children preparing themselves for Civil War.
It's exploratory comic violence for now. Organized intersectional jury nullification will soon be tried to take down the justice system. It's a fast-acting cheap attack that cannot be
It will be interesting to see as we continue to discuss things like jury nullification. For those of you who don't know, jury nullification was written on by some people, like I think Thomas Jefferson wrote on it. But basically, jury nullification is the concept that if you are on a jury, even if someone is clearly guilty, if you find the law to be morally repugnant, let's say someone's getting put up and maybe facing 10 years in prison for some stupid pot charge, non-violent crime, they just had some pot on them and they could go to jail for 5 years. They could have all the evidence in the world, and as a jury member, you can still vote non-guilty. That's jury nullification. It's saying, I don't care what the evidence is, more or less, not guilty. This person isn't going to jail for this. And in the past, this hasn't been a widely understood or known about concept. But, like, with the internet, stuff like this spreads. So I do wonder how the justice system in this country is going to move forward with people having the understanding that they can acquit someone because they personally disagree with what they're being charged with. Because that sounds well and good with, like, the example I said, where, like, someone's getting put away and wasting everyone's time and money for some pot charge. But let's say someone's, and this is an extreme example, but I'll go with it, because, like, let's say someone on a jury's a pedophile, and someone's being tried for a pedophilic crime, and they say, well, I say not guilty, I don't care. What do you do then? You can't try the person again. You can't even necessarily call a mistrial because of that. So it's going to be interesting when people start more or less deciding guilt or innocence in a trial based upon not the facts at hand, but their personal moral compass. How does the justice system deal with that? I don't know.
Easily countered. Well, let's do this. First, let's address the first point. Milkshaking, for example, is a performative rehearsal for something else.
A lot of nullification happened with abolitionists on juries during slavery. Yeah, and that's a good thing. But it's like, what do you do when it's in a situation where someone has committed a morally repugnant crime or clearly broken the law, but someone just disagrees? They certainly are within their rights to do that as a jury member. But what do you do if the system of justice breaks down because so many people, like out of 12 people, you're going to find one person who probably disagrees with whatever the thing is. Unless it's, you know, something like, I don't know, beating your wife or a husband or something. But even then, what if someone on the jury is someone who is a domestic abuser and they want to look out for each other? Just a thought.
Else. When you throw a milkshake at someone, what you're telling them is that they're exposed and they can do whatever they want to you.
I don't think it's that deep, Tim. I think people are just saying, haha, you're Sargon, you're a piece of shit. Now you got ice cream on you, haha. That seems about as deep as it goes.
Now, of course, there are many people saying it's just a milkshake, it's silly, they're trying to humiliate you.
Correct. And that would be the accurate appraisal of what's going on when people get milkshaked.
But this also does expose the vulnerability. That if these people want to go out and politic and talk to people, they are exposed. And it can get dangerous. And the rhetoric...
Oh no, I'm gonna get the ice cream on me. It's dangerous.
Absolutely does.
Hey, if someone advocates for, like, weird white supremacist worldviews, and the worst that happens to them is they get some ice cream on them, they should consider themselves incredibly lucky.
Does escalate. Recently, a comedian, Joe Brand, said something to the effect that milkshakes were pathetic, and why weren't...
Jury nullification requires unanimous vote by a jury. Just like any verdict, one person disagreeing would just result in a hung jury. But hung juries will often, depending on the crime, they won't necessarily try the case again because it's so expensive. So it can fuck shit up, even if it's just like one person. Of course, certain crimes I think only require a majority. Like some places, like 9 out of 12 will do it in terms of a guilty verdict, but...
People getting battery acid.
Depends upon the crime and the location.
I understand that that is meant to be a joke, right? But I also think it's extremely reckless because there have been many other people who have made similar jokes who have been attacked and defamed for doing so and banned. Now, Joe Brand is certainly getting it from conservatives right now. Nigel Farage criticized her because the joke may have crossed the line. Whether or not she actually wants someone to get battery acid and throw it is besides the point. The rhetoric is taking the step. Maybe it'll just be a joke, maybe it won't. But it starts with milkshakes. Milkshakes at first were a joke. They were a meme. Even Burger King got in on the joke.
It still is a joke. People are still throwing milkshakes at you as like a goof, as like a, hey, fuck you. But like, you know, people have been throwing food at each other that they disagree with for a really long time. Like, rotten fruit. That was a fun thing in the past that people did. So, not exactly new. It's just that now you can do it with a delicious frosty beverage instead of with rotting fruit.
But then we saw a wave of milkshakings happen, and people started doing it.
Milk shaking. Let's look at some people getting milkshaked. Nigel Farage. I know there was a Sargon one. Oh boy, Sargon. There's Farage getting it. There's Sargon getting fish thrown. Let's see if there's a video of it. milkshake thrown at UKIP candidate for 4th time this week.
These sort of things happen when people are getting attacked in their own.
Whoa! Whoa!
They got Sargon good with that one. That's like all over him. The music is appropriate. That's about the tone that Milkshaking invokes.
And now we see the escalation of the joke. Acid attacks are already a serious problem in the UK. I don't think it's a good idea to even joke about this because you are in. It's a step. It's incremental. But if you're a politician in the UK, you have to now be worried that they're joking about splashing acid on you. The second point that we'll get.
Aren't these right-wingers always the ones that are like, it's just a joke, bro, freedom of speech? Ironic that they're so hypocritical.
Back to that tweet in a second. The second point made by Eric Weinstein is intersectional jury nullification. Well, in this story from the New York Times, this man in Arizona helped some illegal immigrants. He provided them shelter at his camp, is my understanding. And a jury couldn't decide whether or not to convict him.
Good.
And so it was a mistrial. I'm not saying this is a perfect example or anything like that. Mistrials absolutely happen.
Oh no, helping someone who helped illegal immigrants? The horror.
But jury nullification, for those that don't know, is when a juror decides not to convict because they feel that this person shouldn't be punished for what they did. And therein lies the problem. Did this man provide harbor and aid and shelter to an illegal immigrant? I believe the answer to that question is 100% yes. Everyone understands that. The question then becomes for the jury whether or not he actually committed a crime in doing so. And unfortunately, the jury could not agree.
This would be like being like, a jury nullified. This isn't how it worked, obviously, because Nazi Germany was, fascist. But imagine that they had a jury trial similar to America. Oh, God. It's not up to the jury to decide whether or not it was okay for him to harbor Anne Frank and their family in the attic. The jury just has to decide if he did it or not. Like, fuck off. Fuck off with that shit. The jury nullification, well complicated, I'm glad it exists.
The government put on its best case with the full force of countless resources, and 12 jurors could not agree with that case. Mr. Warren read in a brief statement. In the time since I was arrested in January 2018, no fewer than 88 bodies were recovered from the Arizona desert. The government's plan in the midst of this humanitarian crisis, policies to target undocumented people, refugees, and their families, prosecutions to criminalize humanitarian aid, kindness, and solidarity. Politically loaded language that falls on one side of the political debate. Was he aiding illegal immigrants entering the country, or was he providing humanitarian aid to refugees? The way you frame it will change how someone views the same screen. Again, to Scott Adams' point about two movies on the same screen. So again, it's not a perfect example. Well, I believe what Eric...
And you're watching the movie where you decide to demonize people because of where they're coming from. You're watching the wrong movie, friendo. Please skip over to the one where you have human kindness and understanding for people different than yourself who just want to build a better life, you fucking dweeb.
...is getting at is that there will come a time where someone will say, I don't care if the person did or didn't do it. I don't want the government to have power over this group. And then we will see intersectional jury nullification. Weinstein goes on to say a rerun of 2008 or worse style crash would require skill, expertise, discretion, and will to counter. But most of all, trust and leadership. Yet there's not one single figure who commands trust at the moment. We put no one aside, no general or admiral, no one is above the fray. In the end, when people do not command respect, they're replaced by things. Anyone waving a gun will have our respect until we can disarm him. Similarly, the bar of gold, the compromat video, the private key to the hard drive that was attacked with encryption, respect is transferred. But this hasn't much happened yet. Everything is still limping along. but we are using our time before what is next in the oddest of ways. Myself, most of all, I need to change that. I'm going to try, at least this time around, make up for 2008, be well. Make up for 2008. And I thought, what does Eric mean by this? And he's a very smart guy. He's not, the herald of truth and knowledge, but he is a smart guy, and he does bring good insight and wisdom. And I think what he's saying is, he lost his conviction in 2005 because nothing happened, but then sure enough, 2008 did happen. There was a major financial crash, which was devastating. We're still here.
Which was caused by people like him. He worked at Bain Capital, you fucker. Like, what?
Life carried on. But it may be that we are in the wake of this problem. Many of these many people my age, millennials, following the financial crisis, struggled to find work. They went to school, their debt increased, and they still haven't necessarily recovered from this. The economy is better than ever. But that false start for many young people.
The economy isn't better than ever if most people are struggling. It just means that rich people are able to successfully benefit from the labor of others. That's what's happening when they say the economy's good. People are still unemployed, people aren't able to find housing, people aren't able to get good jobs with upward mobility. The economy is not good. I don't give a fuck what the GDP is.
People has left them saddled with debt. In response, many of them turn to socialism, and they turn to far-left policy and agenda. And this paves the way for a fracturing in the American psyche.
Oh no, the horror! Left-leaning positions actually being showcased and understood within the American populace instead of being demonized for being communism!
So
what a horror.
Let's do this. Who knows what's going to happen? I honestly don't. But I do think we will see escalation. That's all I can really predict, is that things will get worse because it hasn't gotten to the point where people have actually said enough. Even after Charlottesville, people have said, no, more. And they used that rhetoric to incense and to increase. We haven't seen a point at which both sides say we can't do this anymore. So I want to show some stories. The first, we have this one, which I already referenced, the man who was, it was a mistrial. Jurors couldn't decide. We saw the issue of the battery acid joke. Then we have this. The battery acid joke, now we're going to move into something I want to talk about in terms of the double standards and the two realities. Count Dankula made a joke on YouTube just to a small group of his 12 subscribers. He got charged. He got arrested. He was convicted. And they actually...
Was he in Germany? I forget the specifics of the Count Dankula thing. Count Dankula. Scottish. April 2016, he posted a video on YouTube of his girlfriend's pet pug Buddha titled, "Mate, your dog's a Nazi." At the start of the video, he says, "My girlfriend is always ranting and raving about how cute and adorable her wee dog is, so I thought it would turn him into the least cute thing I could think of, which is a Nazi." In the video, the dog, promoted by the command Sig Heil, raises his right paw in the manner of a Nazi salute, watches a speech by Adolf Hitler, and responds immediately when Meekin asks if he wants to, quote, "gas the Jews," end quote. It ends with images of Hitler and Buddha depicted with a toothbrush mustache similar to Hitler's. Meekin was arrested on suspicion of breaching the Communications Act of 2003. On 19th of March 2018, Meekin was convicted of breaching the act by Sheriff Derek O'Carroll at Airdrie Sheriff Court. The court ruled that Meekin's claim that the video was a joke intended for his girlfriend, quote, lacked credibility, as Meekin's girlfriend did not subscribe to the YouTube channel which the video was posted. Can't even get your girlfriend to subscribe to your YouTube channel. That's a little sad. On the 23rd of April 2018, Meekin was sentenced to a fine of £800 with no prison sentence. Communications Act of 2003. The act, which came into force in the 25th of July 2003, supersedes the Telecommunications Act of '84. The new act was the responsibility of Culture Secretary Teresa Jowell. It consolidated the telecommunications and broadcasting regulations in the UK, introducing the Office of Communications as the new industry regulator. On the 28th of December 2003, It gained its full regulatory powers, inheriting the duties of the Office of Telecommunications, among other measures. The Act introduced legal recognitions of community radio and paved the way for full-time community radio service in the UK, as well as controversially lifting many restrictions on cross-media ownership, and also made it illegal to use other people's Wi-Fi broadcast connections without their permission. In addition, the legislation also allowed, for the first time, non-European entities to wholly own a British television company. So it seems like they have certain restrictions on, like, the ability to do, like, Nazi shit. Somewhere.
Took the money from his bank account. Why? Because he made a joke.
He's gone full Nazi since then. What a shock.
This woman made a joke that was actually could be considered by some people offensive and a direct incitement to violence by saying milkshakes are pathetic. Where's the battery acid? It wasn't in that order. She said something about maybe I have the quote because I want to make sure I get it right. But she said something about throwing battery acid instead of milkshakes, and why bother with a milkshake when you could get some battery acids? And then went on to say, that's just me. I'm not going to do it, but I think milkshakes are pathetic. To me, it sounds like she's saying you're not doing enough. But what Dankula did with making his dog do a silly trick was arrestable. Let's move on. This is a really good example of one screen and two movies. Remember when Jim Acosta allegedly grabbed or was grabbed by the White House aide? This is a really simple example I can think of in the past year where people couldn't even see the same reality. Okay, we all saw the same video and no one knew what was real. Did the aide grab the microphone from Acosta, or did Acosta chop the arm of the aide? No one could agree. I mean, obviously you had two sides, one saying he did, one saying he didn't. But there were people saying, you're absolutely wrong. I don't understand. Are you nuts? He clearly hit her. And then the other people saying, what are you talking about? She's trying to yank the mic from him. And I don't understand how you can actually, there's no way to describe that situation to people. You will just have two sides saying, no, you are wrong, period, and nothing will change my mind. Now, this isn't that important. I don't think it really matters all that much whether or not, Acosta did or didn't put his arms on video about, as I mentioned,
okay, you're not even going to play it. Why bring it up if you're not going to fucking play it? Let's see. How do you spell that? Jim Acosta.
Thank you, Mr. President. One of the statements that you made in the tail...
it happened a few days ago, and...
they're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of miles away. That's
I
not an invasion.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country, you run CNN,
all right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask...
Jesus Christ, the President of the United States acts like a fucking 12-year-old on Twitter.
That's another question. Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, I was going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President.
She grabs for the mic.
That's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other question, if I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have...
I'm not concerned.
Are you worried about
having you working for them?
Mr. President, what's coming down in this investigation?
She grabbed for the mic. What about it?
Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN...
Oh, there's a version of it that has the chop sped up. Of course.
CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. Go ahead.
Let me ask...
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President.
That's enough.
So basically, right-wing media completely misrepresented what happened, and he's blaming both sides. No, dude. The right completely misrepresented that shit. You can go see it. There's a reason you didn't show the video.
How, even with video in front of you, no one will agree. Well, let's move on. Some other
Because
stories.
one of the videos was apparently edited, you dumb fuck.
How about, as I mentioned earlier, the Daily Beast doxed a guy for just for posting a video of Nancy Pelosi. This was acceptable. In the media sphere, in journalism, they praised him for doing this. They were saying, good job to this, I believe his name is Kevin Poulsen, for publishing the story and finding out who this guy was. It was a private citizen with no power who published a silly video of Nancy Pelosi, and they said it was newsworthy. But sure enough, what happens when James O'Keefe publishes an employee of a tech firm
Because James O'Keefe is a fucking liar who consistently puts out propaganda material. James O'Keefe is a shitbag who lies about things that he films and then edits in misleading ways.
Censoring a conservative group, which is newsworthy. This is a massive multi-billion-dollar corporation. Well, YouTube deleted his video.
Yeah, James O'Keefe's a fucking liar, a provocateur, and a propaganda producer, and not a very good one.
And Twitter deleted the tweet. I believe Twitter suspended his account. Clearly, we have two realities forming, where even though the...
Thanks, MigUR. Thanks for coming to the stream. See you later. Hopefully see you tomorrow for Tinfoil Tuesday.
We have the journal...
Or no, wait. Is today Sunday? Monday? No, yeah. See you tomorrow for Tinfoil Tuesday.
Journalist class and whatever they represent are fine with them using certain tactics and angry with other people. The way that Will Chamberlain of Human Events described it is aristocrats and peasants. And that's why he said Carlos Maza is allowed to incite violence, like the milkshaking thing, but you're not allowed to make fun of him.
Throwing milkshakes at me is literally inciting violence. But actively being part of a white nationalist group, that's free speech. Genius. A few seconds ago, Bella Chow 2020, thank you for following. Welcome to the stream.
Crowder is a peasant. He's an outsider. He's not in the media class. So when he criticizes Maza, it's the worst of the worst offenses you could commit. But when Maza says, go and throw milkshakes at people, not taken down by Twitter. So let's do another a little compare and contrast here. James O'Keefe, investigative journalism, we have uncovered Silicon Valley censorship, suspended. Carlos Maza, take a milkshake and throw it at somebody, totally fine. It's beyond just a double standard when it's the same circumstance.
It not even the goes same to the point circumstance.
Where Carlos Maza can advocate for, admittedly low-tier violence, but still physical conflict, and it's fine. Twitter won't take it down. This one might be my favorite. Today, or yesterday, we saw this story published by Jared Holt. Right-wing publications launder an anti-journalist smear campaign. The problem? Well, he's upset that Eowyn Lenihan, who at one point was a troll on Twitter, published this crime web connection of various journalists and their connections to Antifa. Now, I approached the story with a bit of a grain of salt and advised everyone else to do so as well, because basically what he did, apparently, was he found that many people on Twitter had connections with Antifa accounts. But that...
It's almost like smart people who work for tech firms are anti-fascist because fascism is bad.
That could just mean they're journalists tracking Antifa. In fact, many of the interactions could have been negative. One of these journalists could have said something.
Antifa, as they like to call it, anti-fascist, isn't a centralized organization. It's not even like Black Lives Matter, where there are, like, chapters, and then they, like, answer to some... No, it's not like that. Antifa literally just stands for anti-fascist. I am an anti-fascist because I am anti-fascism. If you are someone who thinks fascism is bad, you are Antifa. You are anti-fascist. There is no Antifa building where all the anti-fascists get together and go, ah ha ha ha, we will stop fascism with milkshakes. That's not how it works.
Something like, I don't like you. And the insinuation simply because they have interacted that there is a collaboration between the two is incorrect. But I do think it's worth pointing out because I did highlight several of the journalists that I can confirm do work with Antifa. So, you know, it is what it is.
Do work with Antifa. Please explain what you mean by that. I'd love to hear your explanation by what you mean work with Antifa when there is no Antifa, like, central organization. There could be out there that I'm unaware of, some small organizations that use that as a title, but there is no unifying Antifa. It's not a thing. It's just a descriptor for anyone who's anti-fascism.
The point is, the CJR, the Columbia Journalism Review, publishes this story of outrage that no one fact-checked this dataset. The dataset clearly isn't real. There's no proof. And Jared Holt was upset because he reached out to Quillette. And Quillette said they wouldn't answer an activist's questions. They'd be willing to talk to a journalist. And so, if they're going to publish this, they're essentially just another right-wing outlet laundering a smear campaign. But what's really funny about it is that the Columbia Journalism Review quite literally did the exact same thing. We talk about double standards a lot. And the reason I'm moving on to highlighting these stories is that I feel like this will absolutely precipitate some kind of escalation. What do you think's going to happen when conservatives see the evidence from James O'Keefe? Yes, a whistleblower came out.
James O'Keefe has never put forward anything that's credible as evidence. That guy fabricates shit all the fucking time. Oh god, it was a long time ago. I investigated him a little bit when we were doing a movie review. I don't remember. But I think his organization was getting a decent bit of money from either the Trump campaign or it was like a Russian firm. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But like James O'Keefe is a complete shitbag propagandist. Do not believe anything James O'Keefe ever says.
And said straight up, they're 100% censoring the pro-life conservative argument. The evidence comes out, so Twitter and YouTube took his content down? Well, what can you do? It is a rapid development. It's not something that happens slowly over time. This is a massive shock very quickly. The Columbia Journalism Review in 2018 ran fake news. The Data and Society Alternative Influence Report had no data, no methodology, and it was quite literally just one woman who watched a bunch of YouTube videos and then drew lines between people. The rigorousness of this research, I mean, in fact, there's none. There's no research. It's quite literally someone who watched random videos, and in the report, drew lines between me and people I've never met before.
Like you do with people who label themselves as anti-fascists and calling them Antifa. Weird.
And it actually said, we collaborated, guested, or hosted. But that was verifiably false. I have never interacted with half the people she claimed I did. What happens when Eowyn Lenihan actually does see connections between journalists and Antifa? He jumps the gun on what it means, absolutely. I absolutely will criticize the publication. But at least there's some kind of methodology behind it. And it wasn't just one random person making random lines with a marker or something. Yet the Columbia Journalism Review views the world in such a way that their standards are, we can smear you, you better not smear us. Where do you think this goes? I don't care about the idea of a power differential or whatever. I just want to highlight plain as day, there is a dramatic divide. And it might not be left or right, I don't know how you describe it. But there are...
Reality and irreality. You exist in a fake reality constructed by right-wing news outlets and oligarchs who've decided to tell you that black people asking for rights are going to tear down the fabric of civilization. Meanwhile, the president is taking part in fascist activities. So please, if you'd like to come back to reality, we'd love to have you. But, you know, until such a time, maybe lighten up on the both sides are distorting reality argument, because that is demonstrably false.
At least two growing factions who do not see the same world. Some who view they have a right to use certain tactics that others don't, but regardless, the split is there. It's not getting better, it is getting worse. Is Eric Weinstein right? I don't know. But he thinks there's going to be some kind of, you know, that the political space is coming apart. What does that mean? I really don't know. But I do think it's going to get bad. People's livelihoods are already being affected. Their YouTube channels deleted. Their income is stripped from them. Their businesses were shut down by Chase. More than one person. Several people now. So I'll do a quick reference on...
Hey, you want to know how not to get fucked over by social media? Don't advocate for white supremacist worldviews. That'd be great. That usually helps. Just in case you're wondering what the key is.
Scott Adams' comment. Two movies on one screen. I don't necessarily want to read through his entire post, but I definitely wanted to, you know, make sure I included his actual blog. And I think there's no better example of what he's talking about than the Jim Acosta situation. We all watched the same video, but we came to different conclusions, and nothing.
And yours were wrong. The White House aide came and tried to take the microphone from him, and he tried to keep it. That's all that happened. You stop watching edited videos from right-wing news sources because they're feeding you lies.
Nothing will change that. We'll move on now to some other points. This is another good example of two realities that we're living in, and the elitism and the snootiness of whatever. In this story from the Daily Wire, Ash Scow writes, Vox writer confused after Trump's tractor internet claims. Iowa senator sets the record straight. So I'll point this out. Aaron Rapar said, beyond parody, Fox Business cuts away from Trump's speech right after he laments, bizarrely, that tractors can't hook up to the internet. Many people quoted this tweet. You can see it's got 6,408 likes. And they started talking all this smack about Donald Trump, acting like how, they were so smart and they understood exactly.
I imagine he's somehow referencing the fact that, like, John Deere tractors will get, like, over-the-air updates and stuff, like the modern ones. They also sort of lock you out of fixing your own equipment. It's really fucked up. I assume he heard about that at some point and then misspoke horribly about it because Donald Trump is terrible at expressing what he means to say. Like, he expresses himself very poorly. I think we all understand this about Donald Trump.
Exactly what was being said. They will not have their minds changed no matter what. They do not exist in the same sphere. They are in a different reality. What ends up happening is, well, let me just clarify, they're wrong. Of course, Joni Ernst...
You gonna play the clip or no, like earlier?
Clarified, this may be news to folks in New York and D.C., but in Iowa, we know internet-connected farm equipment is critical for precision agriculture. And it's one of the reasons why I'm working to improve rural broadband speeds across speeds and access. Trump's comment was in no way beyond parody. There's no real way to say that. The tractors should be connecting to the internet. Cars connect to the internet. My car from 2012 connects to the internet.
Yeah, I don't disagree with this one. Tractors do connect to the internet, the new ones nowadays. They get, like, updates from the companies in their software. Similar, like, Teslas do the same thing. They get these over-the-air updates. So, there are plenty of things to point out Donald Trump being stupid on, but he probably just, like, explained himself very poorly here.
They've had cell phones built into them for a long time. The Internet of Things is very common. Yet, we saw many people on the left running rampant with, I know better and nothing will change my mind. And this narrative makes people double down when Trump clearly said something that makes complete sense to the rural community and many conservatives and anybody who wanted to just look into it. This is normal. What we're seeing here with this situation is not ridiculous in that people in cities and urban areas often do misunderstand each other. But it's another example that I wanted to highlight. And we'll go on because I now want to get to why I think we are getting to the point where something may be happening. Something dangerous. Maybe a civil war. I don't know what you'd call it. In this interview from Brigham Young, we have a researcher, excuse me. Let me make sure I get his name right. It's a Brigham Young historian.
I wouldn't necessarily trust someone from Brigham Young University, but all right.
And his name is Silber. I don't want to dig through here and find whatever. We're not going to deal with that. I just want to pull one quote, that's why. Silber says, it would have to be something else to call this a civil war. That would indicate a willingness on the part of the masses of people to engage in violence against their political enemies. That happened in the 1860s in part because people had come to see their political opponents in extreme, even demonic ways, and found it impossible to find any middle ground. Maybe
there's no middle ground for whether or not you want slaves. The South seceded because they wanted to keep slaves. That's monstrous. They were monstrous.
Our politics and culture are moving in that direction, but I don't see it yet. Well, I would encourage Mr. Silber to follow any of the rhetoric of the culture war over the past few years. Some say it started with Gamergate. It hasn't stopped.
Well, kids, let me tell you about the Second American Civil War. It started with ethics in gaming journalism. One time, this female game developer made a little web clicky thing about depression, and we all read out, And anyway, we voted for a racist guy, and he started Civil War II, and we all got our asses kicked yet again. As it turns out, racists are apparently real bad at fighting in civil wars, so maybe don't do it.
It has only gotten worse over the past several years, and now we're at the point of mass censorship where even an investigative journalist like O'Keefe, whether you like him or not, had his content taken down for privacy violations, but the Daily Beast was allowed to stay up. Yes, there is a stark divide between people. Notch, the game developer.
Notch is a piece of shit. Notch is a transphobic piece of shit. I don't know if he's also racist, but it wouldn't surprise me. Let's see what Notch has said. Notch. Is he racist? Let's find out. The creator of Minecraft tweeted some dumb stuff about race. Oh, great. He says, it's okay to be white. Notch, no one says it's not. It's not okay to celebrate privilege, however. Privilege is a made-up metric used to silence and repress. We are all different, that's okay. Alright, millionaire. Whatever you have to say. Billionaire? Is Notch a billionaire now? Believing in race-based privilege needed to be oh, God. Notch. Transphobia. Let me see if I can find some tweets from him. Celebrate fucking body dysphoria, making it illegal to use the wrong pronouns. They are the ones using the wrong pronouns. Fucking hell. Nope. Not the case, you fucking asshole. Yikerinos, comparing gender dysphoria to an eating disorder. Fucked up. There's Notch with a sword. You're absolutely evil if you want to help encourage delusion. What happened to not stigmatizing mental illness? There is no love in pretense. There is no you when you appease. He's talking about people being trans. Notch is a shitbag. That's what I'm trying to say. Creator of Minecraft.
Who made Minecraft, tweeted several times, actually. Yup, the left is evil. Most on the left are not evil. They just think they're stuck there. Thinking they're stuck there also applies to the right, which will turn that evil to, in time, there are no sides.
Wow, a transphobia person who's racist did a both sides are the same argument? I'm shocked. It's almost like the whole both sides are the same thing is incredibly disingenuous and is pushed by people on the right who want to equivocate how awful they are towards people on the left being, I don't know, annoying or something? I don't know.
The idea that the left has become evil or is evil has been getting worse. And they actually say the same thing about Trump, but to a more absurd degree, referring to Trump supporters as a certain group of people from World War II that don't really exist anymore.
The word you're looking for is Nazis, and Nazis do exist. Have you heard the term neo-Nazi? They like to go by alt-right now, but, yeah. When we say Nazi, everyone knows what that means colloquially.
They call everyone in the middle far-right. And then sure enough, you see people who are moderate and to the right, conservative, calling the left evil. Not everybody, not all the time. But I'm highlighting this because this was a year ago. It's only getting worse. And I ask you, what do you think will happen when Trump wins a second term? Because he will.
I really hope he doesn't. It'd be real great if he wouldn't.
Trump is on track for a 2020 landslide.
The latest polls don't necessarily show that.
It's from March. Economic models point to a Trump blowout in 2020, but a faltering economy or giant scandal could change everything.
Uh-oh! Uh-oh, Timmy. This was in June 2019. Do I have a surprise for you? Thanks, Rona. Thanks, Rona.
And the story goes through several predictive models saying Trump is poised to win. I will say, with the rapid escalation of censorship, it may backfire. It may actually help Trump. It's one thing when you slowly censor people and people question whether or not it's happening. But what we've seen over the past week has been one of the most dramatic escalations in censorship I've seen in the past several years.
Oh boy, just wait until you find out about Stefan Molyneux and a bunch of other chuds getting banned. Bet you got mad about that. Can we get... Is Tim Pool on the chopping block for getting banned soon? That'd be great. I only discovered him yesterday, and I'm already sick of listening to him, to be completely honest.
This can go two ways. Without Trump's main supporters and biggest voices online, yeah, he might lose. However, the high-profile takedowns might actually scare people. Political correctness is not a fun thing. And we've seen even Bill Maher...
Why can't I say racial slurs anymore? Political correctness has gone too far.
...criticize it. I've only got a couple more references I want to point out. The other one is just something I've mentioned in the past few videos I've done of the dramatic escalation and rapid development of intersectional ideology.
Oh no! People caring about the plight of people similar to them or having problems in society? Oh no. Number of our news articles mentioning diversity and inclusion, which has of course gone up. Great. That's good. Number of news articles mentioning whiteness up. Number of news articles mentioning critical race theory up by quite a bit. That's good. We should talk about these things in society because, as the Joker says, we live in a society. And it's true.
People who are fomenting the political collapse, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is, I don't know.
Nondescript PHC says, political correctness is people concerned about not hurting people. Why is it bad? Well, it's bad for people like Tim Pool because they hurt people so regularly. They just think it's part of everyday life. And they're like, why are you stopping me from just living my life? Because you're hurting people. Stop it, and you can continue on your way. It's fine.
No, something is happening. We can all see it. And it's not getting better. It's just getting worse and fast. And that's just, you know, it's getting worse and it's getting faster. It's getting worse and it's getting worse faster than before. The last thing I'll add to this is that many people might say that this is, it's been referred to me as inside baseball. You know, a lot of people don't know what's going on. There's someone I follow by the name of Amanda the Jedi. She's a Twitch streamer, smaller YouTuber, 27,000 subs. She does YouTube content, movies, entertainment, games, sometimes political stuff, but not really. She recently made a comment on the YouTube smear against YouTubers, in which they implied Philip DeFranco was part of the pipeline to the far right. And when I saw her tweeting about this, I said, when you get smaller YouTubers who are not in the culture war tweeting about this, we can see it's expanding. It's pulling in more people. Beyond that, we saw a couple months ago, Rick and Morty creator, Justin Roiland, tweet about this university woman. He said, extremism is bad no matter what ideology you adopt. However, while I would agree with Justin Roiland, he's clearly on one side of the culture war on this issue. Because the professor was talking about something having to do with, you know, I don't know, what is it, whiteness? She says, when I hear a white person say this, I'm thinking, this is a dangerous white person. This is
what they're saying is, he didn't even reference it. She said, it was basically about when someone says they don't see race, it concerns them for obvious reasons, because if you don't see race, it probably means you don't see racism. You don't see how race, despite the fact that it is a social construct, how it affects our everyday life and how your race might offer you some sort of advantage or how someone else's race might give them some sort of disadvantage, rather. So that's what that was about. And he seemed to... I don't even know about this Justin Roiland thing, but she was basically saying, like, you should care about race because race cares about you, basically, if that makes sense. Like, it's great to not try and view the world through, like, a racist lens, but to ignore the fact that a lot of people do, and these things affect people, is to bury your head in the sand. That's basically what was being said.
As a white person who is going to need to deny my reality, or something like that. That is intersectional ideology that is dominating the extreme left. Justin Roiland came out opposing that. Justin Roiland makes a TV show about a scientist and his grandson going on wacky adventures.
He turned into a pickle. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Justin Roiland is not a culture warrior. He's not political. He makes jokes.
What? Have you seen Rick and Morty? There's some, like, political shit in there. Like, what? What? There's a whole episode where Rick ends up in, like, a bunch of fascist dystopias. What?
But even Justin Roiland has been pulled into this. The point I'm trying to make with all of this video is that, you know, when I saw Eric Weinstein's tweet about something happening, I completely agree. I don't know what it'll be like, how bad it will be, or what will come after, but it is going to happen. Imagine, I guess if you were to take Eric's word for it, something like the financial crisis. A dramatic upheaval that negatively impacts people for a couple of years, and we eventually move on with things being a little different. But I want to make sure I stress to Eric's point, I don't think millennials have actually recovered. I don't. The economy is doing well, but
there's an episode where Rick and his granddaughter beat up a neo-Nazi. That is true, yeah. It's, I think they're saying, like, X gonna give it to you. That's playing, and then it's like an end credits gag. They beat up a neo-Nazi.
Millennials aren't getting married, they're not having families, and they're living at home. These are remnants of the financial collapse. It has not been resolved. And what's happening from these kids living at home with no families and nothing to do, they're turning to socialism and far-left ideology.
Oh no, the current system has failed people, so it makes them go back to the drawing board and look at other systems that might be more beneficial to the working class? The horror.
Saying the world is unfair, they did everything right, and it's still not enough. And I think that's why it's primarily millennials who are pushing this, and Gen Z is actually kind of flipping the other direction. It's because millennials came of age at a time when the economy was destroyed. And so now they're looking at the system as corrupt, indefensible, and in need of change. I don't think we're actually out of the financial collapse's woods yet. I think it's entirely possible that in 100 years they say, you know, whatever period we're in right now started when the financial collapse happened, or the Great Recession. When in 2008, I remember...
I feel like it would start... Oh boy. It's complicated. I would say 9/11 is a good point to start. Post 9/11 was a domino that kind of fucked a lot of shit up, right? So I'm gonna say that.
I remember trying to apply for a job.
Or even maybe the 2000 election, which of course fed into the response to 9/11.
Dishwasher. I was, high school dropout, broke, and I needed whatever money I can get. And I went to this small hole-in-the-wall little restaurant, and the guy in front of me with his resume was wearing a suit. He was in his 30s, and he had lost his job, and he was going to take anything. Many of these jobs saw an opportunity to...
9/11 was created because of our Middle East meddling. Yeah, I get it, but you could do that. It's always arbitrary when you try and... Like, you could take a line back from, Trump... to the alt-right rising in America, to Obama, to the response to George W. Bush, to, back to 9/11. You could track that all the way back to fucking Napoleon and earlier. Like, you could go all the way back and be like, wow, Napoleon marching across Europe and taking over so much led to a lot of countries becoming allies, which led to tensions in the, 1914 when World War I broke out, which of course led to economic destruction for for Germany, which led to the rise of fascism in Germany, which led to World War II. World War II led to the rise of the United States as a world superpower, including Russia, which led to the Cold War. You can always go back and find another domino that led to what was causing now. It's always a bit arbitrary to decide, this is the box that this period is in and whatever, but...
Hire overqualified people, or more qualified people, as opposed to someone like me. And that put me off on a bad track. I ended up being homeless on and off. Ultimately, I pulled myself out, but most people didn't. Most of my friends live with their parents, and they're entering their 30s. I'm not exaggerating. I know a lot of people who live in
Yeah, the economy got fucked, and the capitalist class has continued to take value and benefit of the current economy away from the working class. I'm very fortunate in that I've been able to get this house. I live in an area with very cheap real estate, so like I have like a house with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Pretty nice place. I enjoy it. It's great, but I'm incredibly fortunate. A lot of people have been fucked over since 2008. Like, hardcore. And stuff has to change. It has to. This is unsustainable.
Apartments in big cities, but they're loaded with student loan debt. They can't find good work, and they're making trash wages. The economy may be doing really, really well, and maybe things will recover from here. But I think the Trump derangement syndrome is going to end with people...
Trump derangement syndrome. Oh, you guys don't like our racist, inarticulate, idiot president? You must be deranged. Genius.
People not caring whether the economy is good or not. They're already angry. They've adopted this ideology. It's escalating extremely quickly. And it's going to come somewhere. It's going to come to something. I think we'll see violence. I think we're going to see businesses being destroyed. I don't think the culture war ends with us just slowly forgetting about it. I could be wrong. I'll leave it there. Long video. Let me know what you think, and we'll keep the conversation going. You can follow me on Minds at Timcast. Stay tuned. More videos coming up. YouTube.com/TimcastNews at 6 p.m. I'll see you there.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough Tim Pool for today. Fuck that guy. What a dick. Big Booty Goth Queer says, I can't believe my fiance got a 2-story, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a front and backyard for $45,000. That's about my situation too, actually. Like, the real estate around here is cheap as fuck. So, you know. Nondescript PHC, I'm actually waiting on the housing collapse to buy a place. Yeah. Wait until all the landlords have their property seized by the government for affordable housing. Comrade. It's a joke. Alright, so that's probably gonna be it for the day. We'll raid the serfs. They're doing something right now. I need to find my dang channel. Oh, up to 981 subscribers. Again, if you haven't already, check out my YouTube channel. Give me a subscribe. I'm only 19 away from 1,000, which is great. Come back tomorrow for Tinfoil Tuesday. We might be doing an entire Hans stream. So we'll see. Let's do the raid. Raid the Serfs TV. So thanks, everyone. Remember, you're all valid. Everyone's valid.
There's nothing funny about the tools of
Oh, thank you, Jousterzen, with 50 bits. If you haven't already, follow the channel. We'll be back for more fun tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone.
A hateful, spite-filled